Hello, listening people.
Hello!
Drag it out. You're listening to Spin Polish Presents Unappreciated Masterpieces. I'm Ryan Sliwinski.
And I'm Bartek Kasprzyszak. Well, should I say my last name? Start again.
Fuck, no, we can't. Why? Why are we called Spin Polish? Likingly, because we're always spitting, and if you heard Bartek's last name and my own, we are both Polish. What we do on Unappreciated Masterpieces? Good question, me. What we do is we cover movies that need to be talked about. Movies that have not got the love that they deserve. They're not ones that are completely forgotten, but they're not ones that are completely remembered. You may have them on the tip of your tongue, but no one's bringing them up at a birthday party about that being their favourite movie. Or are they? Maybe if they listen to this show, their tastes have improved. We dare to do feature-length audio commentaries for movies that seemingly don't deserve a commentary. But that's where we disagree. We find something amazing in a film that is already a gem to us. Bartek?
Yep.
What is the gem?
Stop laughing.
What is the gem we're going to be covering today? The unappreciated masterpiece.
People, today we're recording it, but you can listen anytime. Today we are doing the classic 2007 film, Dziewczyna's Saint Trinian.
I don't speak Polish. That's like a recurring problem that I have in my life. Is I know my heritage is Polish, but I never got taught it. So I imagine you're speaking Polish. You could be speaking Hungarian. I don't know. It could be anything. What are we watching?
Well, it's spit in Polish, Ryan. It's not Hungarian Polish.
Spit and hungry. I am hungry.
Oh shit, I made him say, I'll do it again. It's not spit in Hungarian, Ryan.
Oh, okay, what are we watching?
Well, let's just get rid of the Dziewczyna of Z and add an S at the end and we get Saint Trinians.
What's the first bit?
What?
What's the first bit you got rid of? I don't understand.
The Polish title is Dziewczyna of Saint Trinian, which means girls at Saint Trinian.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm
So I
asking.
got
Like,
rid of
what's
the
that?
Dziewczyna.
Get rid of the girls at St. Trinian's and put in our guest.
Do the thing where you immediately understand what the movie is, Ryan.
Oh, the 2007 classic St. Trinians
Yes.
with Colin Firth
Yes.
and Mischa Barton, my favourite actress. We are luckily joined by a recurring guest on the show. No, not Roger Ebert's dead corpse, but something awfully close to it. Grace Brown. I'm very proud of that. I thought about that. I was looking at Grace before doing the recording. Like, Grace has glasses. Kind of reminds me of a female Roger Ebert. Could be. But no, Grace Brown has...
many guests who have glasses.
Every guest is Roger Ebert. No, we have done several episodes before. Last one we did was The Boy Next Door. Now you are joining us for a specialty for this month. For this month of Feb. Last year we covered dogs. This year we're covering duologies. Film series that only contains 2 movies. They were just off the trilogy that The Godfather fulfilled.
There was talk about about the third film.
Yeah, this one does have an IMDb page for a third film.
Is it St. Trinians 3?
Yes.
Revenge of Colin Firth's career? No, we are
He's doing all right.
Yeah.
It's not like he won an Oscar a few years after this.
Now, guys, you have to get your copy of the St. Trinians 2007 one ready. Not the 50s one. Everyone I talked to before doing this, I'm like, oh, I do St. Trinians. They're like, oh, which one? I'm like, oh, the 2000s one. And they're like, oh, okay.
Is the one in the 50s particularly popular?
Yes.
There are
well, I apologize.
There are several.
There are 4 from last century, right?
Now, get your 2007 copy ready, because we are going to start this film, okay? Get ready, because we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, play.
Pele.
Did you have to?
Yeah.
So, St. Trinians.
Yeah, this one... This one confused me at first because you've been telling me about it for a while and the way you...
Did I warn you enough?
Well, the thing is, the way you said it, and to be fair, the way they say it in the film, I thought you were saying like one word and it had like something to do with century.
Yeah.
So when I was trying to...
And they say it in the movie like that too, so that's...
Yes, they do, so I can't rag on you for that because I pronounce it saint like that because I'm an idiot. So I spent a long time trying to look for this movie that begins with the letter C, but I couldn't find it. I even looked at Russell Brand's like filmography,
And
I
you
was
saw
like, where
St.
is it?
Trinians, you're like, nah, that can't be the one.
Well, no, I was looking at the first letter of every every movie, and I couldn't see a C anywhere. And I'm like, where is this movie?
Wait, he had no movie with a C at the start of
He
his...
might have, but obviously they weren't like pronounced with a C, like Trinians.
So, you thought this was, like, cent, as in this is 50 cents. And... Great.
If that's your go-to when you hear the word cent, then yes, Ryan.
Sorry, 50 cent. I should have said it correctly.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Cent. So, Grace...
It's a cheap name.
What do you think of Trinians? Give us your little backstory, your history.
I genuinely like this film. So this came out when I was in grade 6, and I saw it in cinemas at like Eastland, I believe. And I have a lot of nostalgia for this film, and I've actually rewatched it out of choice before. In fact, last year I rewatched the first and the second one.
Back to back?
Yes, actually, and
Ooh.
I really, really like Colin Firth. Like,
Is he your favourite?
he's not my favourite, but he is up there. Like, he's a dick in this movie, but I was into it. I was very into it.
Fun fact. I said this during the watching of it last night. I've seen this before, but I never really noted that this is really one of the first times Colin Firth played a villain.
And he actually does a pretty good job. Like, I've seen a couple where he's played a villain. I wish he did it more, because he's actually pretty good at it.
Well, on a scale of villainy, I mean, he was the villain of this film, but...
He's a villain, Bartek. Don't give him any cuts.
I'm
just
not
because we
sorry-
see it outlined.
I'm sorry
on his
for being
dick.
an apologist for this character.
Stop being an apologist for Colin Firth.
So obviously...
What are you, his agent?
So obviously I hadn't heard of this film, hadn't seen it, saw it for the first time last night.
And you know, why did I watch this? Is a good question I ask myself. Why have I seen this before? It's something I asked myself late at night many times. Well, it was in an age where my parents would just buy DVDs because they know the property, so they're like, "Oh, I remember hearing about this." Sure, and they bought like all the worst Eddie Murphy movies you can imagine. Like, what was it like?
Meet Dave.
No, yes, but like the last Boomerang or something around. I can't remember, something like Boomerang, and this was one of them because they're like, "Oh, I remember the old Trinians movies." Bought it, and I have watched this now. Outside of this viewing that we're doing currently, probably 3 times. And I liked it very much each time I have watched it. Mm-hmm. Thoroughly enjoyed. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed it the first time, I think, in particular. I like all the characters. Every single multi-layered character that you have here. And what I like about this movie, too, is... this is like a spawning ground for every British movie we've done on the show, because every British actor that we've done on the show has appeared in this movie, basically. Like we have Stephen Fry, who is in Thunderpants.
As a judge.
So
in a way, he's MCing in all these films we do.
And we also had Juno Temple in Three Musketeers and Year One.
Yeah, she was
and
Michael Cera's
this is the
love
only
interest.
one where we don't get to see her breasts as prominently, which was a disappointment, I must say. That's probably the negative I have of this movie.
This
There's
is
not
probably...
enough Juno Temple breasts, because I'll be honest, the other girls' breasts are fine, but they're no Juno Temple breasts. How do you feel about that, Grace?
I feel a number of ways, but this
Have you seen Juno Temple's breasts?
I have not seen Juno Temple's
So you have not seen any of her films?
I've not seen Year One or the other one, Three Musketeers that you mentioned.
Or
Is that the one with Mads Mikkelsen in it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or Horns?
I've seen Horns.
She's the girlfriend that gets naked and gets fucked on a tree by Daniel Radcliffe. Fun fact.
In which case I have. I apologize.
Written by Stephen King's son, Joe. Joe King, but he's now Joe Hill. Isn't that great?
Yes.
You're joking, right?
No, that's actually his name, Joe.
You're not joking?
Yeah, I'm not joking. I wish I was.
So with me, at first, it took me a while to get into the film, but once I got around my inferior senses, I really started to enjoy this film.
Once you realised you were wrong, and it was right.
I was missing a couple of things. Some of the accents were a bit.
Grace
thick.
is pointing.
Yeah, because they're just like, they're arguing over how much the school is, and I think they say it's $4,000.
Yeah.
That is not at all much for a private school, or
But
as they
this
call it in
school's
England, a public school.
shit, though.
Yeah, but $4,000
wait.
is like nothing.
Pounds.
Oh yeah, £4,000. That's a very good point. Oh, that's
a lot of
getting up
beatings.
there.
And also, this is in 2007, before the financial crisis. Before the recession.
Yeah, but
So it's a different time.
I thought they were
It's a
just talking
different
about
time.
fees.
Yeah, this is tuition, isn't it? Or is this for each... No, this is for each term.
is this for each term?
Because she's only doing this one term. And he's paying for the one term. Like, I
Okay.
think he says to her here, like, don't be silly, darling. It will be half term before you know. Like, I think he's just paying for the one term at a time.
Okay, in which case, £4,000 for one term is steep, and I understand why they were arguing.
Yeah, I was wondering why you guys are like, for the school? What are you doing?
Hey, you know what I came to say, Trini, is for a financial discussion. You know, for a school, that's a lot of money. Well, it is a private school. Well, it is England.
Well,
they do use the
Ryan-
pound metric there. Well, obviously.
Well,
they-
Ryan, this is a film where bankruptcy is, like, a conflict,
There was a point...
eventually.
Yeah. So you'd never seen this before, Bartek?
Hadn't heard of it either.
Yeah, and hadn't heard of it. So what did you have to make of it? Because the one thing I would say before I let you answer that is, did this make you feel like you were watching a Vampire Academy again? Because they're both very similar in tone and look.
It actually...
This has more to it, I feel.
Oh, you never watched Vampire
No,
Academy?
I
then.
have watched
Okay,
Vampire
no,
Academy.
don't
I
you
read the
give us
books
this.
and I have seen Vampire Academy. How
You
dare
don't know what you're on
I
about.
do. I have
Don't
seen it.
know. We're
I
talking
know
about
about the
Trinians. We're talking about
Dampiers and
Trinians.
the... Okay, fine.
They're called Strigoi. Now.
No, there's Strigoi and Dampiers and the other one that Vasilisa is.
You know? Wrong.
Yes, I
No,
am
they're
correct.
Maroi.
So I walked
There's
into this
Maroi,
film
Strigoi,
blind,
and Dampiers.
Yeah.
it
It's
actually
spelled
reminded me a
DH.
bit more of Band Slam than it did of
Band Slammer.
Yeah, it kind of did remind me a bit more of Band Slam in that... Because
Those
Vampire...
moody teenage girls.
Sort of. With Vampire Academy, even though it was very...
That shot.
What's that word? Where world building, like
Yeah, yeah.
It built the world there, and you did really buy that all those people could exist. Those people, I'm so
Bit of
sorry.
Lily Allen for your listening pleasure.
What?
Lily Allen's the song is "I've Never Been This Far Away from Home." I think that's the title by Lily Allen and
Excuse me.
the
We're
other
talking
guy,
to
Mark
Bartek at the
Ronson?
moment,
I'm
not
sorry.
Lily. Lily's career's over. Let it go.
How dare you? Like, her music was the soundtrack to like the end of my
Me too,
primary
man.
school and the start of my high school.
Well, end of my school year was Lily Allen. Yeah, I like Lily. We've talked about this on the podcast before. I like Lily Allen.
I like
you
Lily Allen. Yeah, we like
Bartek
Lily
is
Allen.
indifferent to music. Bartek, keep going. There's a geek there. Do you relate to her?
Good, Lily Cole.
Is she related to Lily Allen? So Bartek, you were saying something.
I was.
That's an emo, by the way.
It's Paloma Faith.
I actually said to myself, goth? And then I actually went, or emo. And it answered it for me. I was very happy with that.
The film made me double take on that. I was like, goths, and they're like, no, emos. I was like,
You
shit.
fucking idiots.
Although
It's
with-
2000, like,
I did feel good
7.
later in the film with the trivia. I did get some of the answers right.
Ooh. So you walked into this somewhat, completely blind.
Completely blind.
Did it meet your expectations that you had none of?
Well, it certainly... It's like when you walk into a place just expecting you're gonna sit down and then eventually stand up and go away, but you actually sit down, you just get a lot of input and love from the world, and then you walk away being like, yeah.
Also,
That was
you
good.
couldn't put this on YouTube. You could not.
Not live
Not
stream.
even in 2007.
Not
No,
live
you
stream.
just press the upload button, select the file, and
No,
upload it.
YouTube has like guidelines. You're not allowed.
No, but they're live streaming this.
Yeah, but they said YouTube.
No,
We're live
but
on
yeah,
YouTube.
they're live streaming on YouTube.
Which
This
was
film
not a
is
thing
set
in
in the
2000.
future.
Excuse me, did YouTube have such strict rules in 2007?
Yes, it did.
No, you're wrong. I was
YouTube
there.
has always been like a safe for work.
Nah, you're wrong. You don't know YouTube well enough. You gotta know where to look.
I'm quite familiar with 2007 YouTube. How dare you? That was
So-
when I just started to get access to it.
One sec.
Possibly
Yes.
This film has a lot going on. The plot would be what?
Well, like I said earlier, eventually there is a whole bankruptcy issue, but overall we can say that after this beginning part where we get the world building of the school, the building, if you will, we have this plot about Colin Firth.
Yeah, that's his name.
Yep, I get it mixed up with some...
Colin
else
Farrell.
sometimes.
You can
Colin
read it.
Muckery.
No, it was one of the guys on the Chasers.
Oh.
Oh.
Charles Firth. And he-
The lesser known American.
I know, but I watched a lot of Chasers War and everything. So
As did
Me
I.
too.
Yeah.
I even listened to the commentary tracks.
I did as well, actually, because we had
I'd
the
like
DVDs.
to. Fuck, what was I saying? You guys keep interrupting
The
me.
plot.
The plot. Yes, it is about Colin Firth looking at this school and thinking, I'm gonna change it. And not really knowing what to expect. But then, he goes there and he realizes there's some wacky shit going on.
Interesting.
And it kind of works around there. Which is kind of funny to say that in all that, I didn't even mention who we assume is the protagonist.
Yeah, Grace, you've watched this movie many times before. What's the plot for you?
The plot for me, well, it's like part heist movie, part coming of age. No, there's no coming of age.
Hey, she gets a makeover.
Rather than coming of age, it's kind of like a story of fitting in.
It's a story of conformity.
It's not well.
Yes.
No, yeah, in a way it is.
It's a story of
she
anarchist conformity.
conforms by not conforming.
Yeah.
To
See, I wouldn't say that that's what the film's about. I just said that's a theme of it.
I wouldn't say that's what it's about. I said it was a heist movie.
So it's a heist
No,
movie.
I was talking about to Ryan.
It's a girl.
Yeah, Ryan.
It's girls wanting to steal Scarlett Johansson. Well, for me, it was actually weird for a good portion of this movie because I've seen it before, but it's been a while. I was like, okay, so this is a movie about this girl who goes to the school and she becomes something else, but it's also a story parallel about an older woman who's an English teacher and she learns to throw her moral values away.
Don't we all?
It's
when we
a
become
corruption
English
story for youth and the middle age.
I suppose we could say that this is one of those.
She's supposed to be old. Like, that's the best part. You going?
This is one of the, I guess, those ensemble films where there's just a lot going on, and we kind of have to see what is the central point.
It's like Ben-Hur.
And I think
Bigger
what
than Ben-Hur.
yeah, and I think what I said is kind of the central point. It's like the schools.
I
got
think
this
I am right,
conflict.
says Bartek.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say and be humble or whatever. I think that the central point is that the school is facing a bankruptcy conflict, and in the process of getting around that, everyone else, develops as a character.
Yeah, it was an amazing thing last night. I watched this and my girlfriend, she remembered basically, the makeover scene. And the makeover scene's really late in the movie.
Yeah.
And there was a point in the movie where we heard about the bankruptcy and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, okay, so we're about halfway through or just over. I'm like, no, we're not. We're literally 35 minutes in. And I said to her, here's why. This movie's interesting. The first act starts 30 minutes in where the inciting incident happens. The rest of this is just kind of...
Like I said, world building.
World building.
Or
Like,
building.
Who's Russell Brand? Is he a nice guy? Is he a pedophile? I don't know.
He's a bit of both. Well,
He's a
not
nice
guy.
pedophile.
No.
Okay, can I share a story? When I messaged Grace and said, hey, can we do Trinians? She's like, I genuinely love this movie. And I'm like, good, I'm like, yeah, Colin Firth. And you're like, yeah, Colin Firth's great. And I'm like, what about Russell Brand? And you're like, fuck no. And then, get this, I said, but he is the fun. He's real good. And you just wrote, yeah, he is. And then
I thought you were talking about Colin Firth.
And then she wrote, oh wait, fuck no. Just like, and then I'm like, well, I tricked you. You agreed to say Russell Brand was fun.
Wait, Ryan, did you really say he is the fun?
He is the fun.
That's great. I love that.
It's just like I remember his character flirting with a school child and like really, really wanting to be in
pedophile?
I think he's...
really wanted to be in a relationship with Kells, and I'm like,
but he asked her. He didn't force himself.
Yeah, but it's still
Is
not.
she? But she like 18 though.
I don't.
She's
it's
head
not
girl.
Said. Yeah, I know. We assume she is.
She's clearly 18.
She looks like...
So it's fine.
She looks
Russell Brand's clearly like 35.
Also, Gemma Arterton's look throughout this entire movie is so good, and
I'm used to her as a redhead. Go on.
She looks like Uma Thurman from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
If you've got the DVD right there, we can have a comparison.
She also looks like like one of those little dogs that Paris Hilton would put in a handbag. But as a person.
What? No.
In this film.
She's what?
In this film, she looks like the personification
like a chihuahua.
of one of the dogs that Paris Hilton would have in her bag.
Ding dong, you are wrong.
Ding dong, I am right, because she's literally wearing a dog collar throughout the movie.
She wears a
wearing a
barbed
lock.
wire necklace later that I'm so into.
She's wearing a lock as well, so
Padlock,
it's a padlock to stop you from getting down her throat. No gobbies unless she has the key, Grace.
Oh, look, Ryan, it's your character.
How dare you?
You're a big fan of Cobbies, I know.
What does that mean?
Don't you disgrace Cobbies.
Ryan's a
Hey, what
pervert.
is this outfit she's wearing? I'm very, very, very big fan of the green
repressed
turtleneck.
English
This
teacher.
lime
Couture.
green.
Kind of looks semi-casual.
It's not casual.
Toby Jones as the Nazi scientist we all know and love.
From Captain America: Winter Soldier.
He's got a weak mustache in this.
I think it's the quality. I think it's actually an alright mustache.
No,
It's
it's
just
actually a very
blonde.
weak mustache.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When
yeah.
I first saw him, I was like, oh god, this guy looks like a typical favourite character candidate.
He wasn't though.
He wasn't, no, because
I actually kind of have a few favorite characters.
Yeah, same.
I think the appeal of this movie, of this particular movie, the two main appeals is Rupert Everett
Yes.
as Miss Fritton, and Russell Brand. For me, I found Russell Brand's comedy in this to be refreshing because he's kind of the straight man in
In
the
a weird
craziness,
way,
and
yeah.
here's the thing. I you know, oh, what are you looking at?
I
Don't
just
panic.
realised that she has a chain around her waist. Miss Fritton does that says
Yeah.
bling, and it is the most like. Other than that, she's dressed.
Great. Bling.
Oh my god, I never noticed
So
that.
what I was gonna say was I don't know how you guys feel about Russell Brand. Now, Grace, you're not so much positive on him. I never really liked him in movies as much. I liked his stand up because he's actually a really intellectual stand up comedian, surprisingly. In the stuff that I've seen of him, like really intellectual guy. And the only film that I really gave him props for was Forgetting Sarah Marshall. For me, I hate that movie. It's a film where it's a movie with nothing but unlikable characters. But he was the only one out of the unlikable characters that was a redeeming character. So I've always kind of had a soft spot in my heart for Russell Brand because he was an actor in a movie that made me stop wanting to kill myself because that movie really makes me want to die.
I haven't seen that, but I've seen Get Him to the Greek. He plays the same character.
And it's a
there?
completely different character.
Oh, is it?
Didn't in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, didn't you enjoy that bit where Jason Segel's on the piano going, Peter, you suck? That's the best scene in that
No,
film.
I just don't like Jason Segel very much. Like he was alright in
Many
Gulliver's Travels, but he
Oh.
wasn't in it very much. Jason Segel just doesn't do it for me, but Russell Brand, he did it for me in that movie, and he does it
Russell
for me in
Brand
this
just does
movie
it for you.
because he does something which is very interesting. Like we've talked about, he's a slight kind of pedophile creep in this, and in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, he's a rock star who's also a bit of a creep. But what he does is he finds an innocence and a charm to characters like that, because at the end of the day, these are kind of they're just characters for fun movies, but also like these are kind of people, and even like terrible people have some kind of shining quality to them, and I think he finds a great balance.
Which is kind of a theme
for
of
that.
this movie, yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. Like everyone's terrible in this movie, but there's some shining spot to them. Even Colin Firth, the villain of the movie, like what's his shining thing? He has an infatuation with
With Miss Fritton.
Miss Fritton.
Coming up.
Also, he kills dogs, so you know.
Yes, he's a dog killer. We all love that. This film is like full of many of me going, it's that guy and it's him.
Yeah, like that's the guy from Horrible Histories.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's Ben Wilbon.
This was an interesting film to watch because it reminded me a lot of the previous film we just did on our show, Zoom. In terms of its editing style is very flashy, its cinematography is very in your face. But the thing I think this has over Zoom is its confidence in itself. I think that's one thing I had. That's a problem with a lot of movies that we do on the show is they don't have enough confidence to follow through 100%. But this has a problem with that the other half do, which is they go 100%. This also reminds me of Catch That Kid in terms of it just fucking runs wild. It
Just
is
picking heist movies,
so
Ryan.
confident in itself. And I think that's what, you like about it, Grace. It's a confident movie. Young Grace needed young female confident characters, and this was the only thing available in 2007.
Oh, yeah. Like, it was one of the reasons that that I liked it so much that it did itself to me so effectively. That is Lucy Punch.
She was in Hot Fuzz.
Yep, I said Lucy Punch off of Hot Fuzz. And I googled how old she is now. She is 39 now, and Colin Firth, who plays her father, is 56 now.
So, yeah, it works out.
It works out. It's interesting.
Hey, come on. We've had movies where, certain characters were playing 16-year-old girls and they were like 28 years old and they looked 16. And you just
that
gotta
British soccer film.
bend it like Beckham. Yeah, bend her like Beckham, yeah. So...
No, it's convert them like Dave.
So...
Can't believe I remember that.
with St. Trinians, this is based off an old British property, like I mentioned before, my parents...
Painting, right?
Cartoons and all that as well.
Cartoons.
And then movies. Have you guys seen any of these? The cartoons and
I hadn't
movies?
seen
No,
heard of
this
it.
is my only exposure to St. Trinians.
Yeah, I've never seen the originals either, but I've been meaning
out
to
that
check
velour
them
tracksuit.
out. Because in that too, Miss Fritton is also played by a man.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that old... And a lot of the reviews that I looked at from professional critics, not just ones from IMDb, really criticized this movie for having Rupert Everett play this character in drag, essentially, and really slammed it for that. And I think it's kind of just a mistake to do that, because this is a quintessential backbone of British comedy. Or you know, that kind of comedy. Like, you know, nowadays we have Mrs. Brown's Boys. Not my cup of tea, but, you know, the comedy here isn't ha-ha, it's a man in a dress. Like, that's not the joke here. It's just, oh, that's kind of funny. That's just like a little background thing. Like, oh, it's a man. But like Dame Edna Everage, like Fritton, they embody the character so well that you kind of forget that they're, you know, the man in a dress, and it doesn't kind of play into the humor very much. That's why I get annoyed with, you know, certain types of comedies where they do that, where it's like, it's a man in a dress, get it? They're kissing because it's awkward, because, you know, gay panic. And it's like, this isn't having that. Like, they genuinely love each other here. Like, I don't see their love being played for comedy, other than they're just so British about it.
Oh, dude, the song in the credits.
Colin Firth Smolder.
Is he attractive to you?
Yes, he
Can you explain it? Because I'm a straight guy, and I understood it when I saw him in Kingsman, because he was being James Bond and he was incredibly fit and all that. And I've seen him in Pride and Prejudice, but I don't get it. What is there?
I don't think I could explain it, just like I couldn't explain my...
All right, I'm just going to aim the microphone at the ovaries and hear what they have to say.
Yeah. I don't know, his demeanour, his confidence, his also doesn't seem like an arrogant dick.
Really?
Well, in this he does, obviously.
Oh, well, that's the thing I was actually going to say. The thing that I thought that attracted women about Colin Farrell is...
Colin Farrell is a
Firth.
different matter.
Charles
Colin
Firth.
Colin Firth is the fact that he does have this kind of arrogance. Like in Bridget Jones's Diary, he's an arrogant guy.
I don't read that as arrogance so much as just confidence. Well,
But he is arrogant because he's upper. Usually, he's playing upper crust, and that kind of confidence is associated with arrogance, especially in the British. I think that's an appeal, but you know, get what you can.
Get what you can. To be honest, I do love Bridget Jones's Diary.
What about Bridget Jones's Baby?
I have not seen it yet, and I really, really wanted to see it when it came out of theaters, but like no one was keen.
Now, have you guys played hockey before?
Yes.
Not with these kind of
my
sticks.
my sister's a really, really good hockey player.
Ooh.
She's a goalie. And I watched this game knowing all the things they were doing wrong outside of making shifts. And I was like, one of the like the goals, I guess, you know, I can't remember the actual technical term. I think it's a goal. Who cares? Not me. Now I'm about to complain how they get it wrong. Who cares? Like the girl from
This is like
Lucy Punch.
We bet it like Beckham. You got so annoyed that your dad was like, "Oh, it's so accurate." You're like, "I don't care." Now you're on about hockey.
Yeah, but
It's the
here's
stop
the thing.
enterer.
Here's the thing. This actually comes in importance. Lucy Punch's character, who is on the side of playing the game properly, she's the one that does the improper way of hitting the goal, where she raises the stick way over her head and swings. And I go, hold on a sec. If it was one that said Trinians girls, I wouldn't be talking about it. But it's her.
Like the
she represents.
Yeah,
She represents how to, the rules, the authority, all that.
But she's playing dirty throughout. Isn't she?
To be fair,
No,
though,
she's just a monster.
Okay.
But not really that dirty. Like, but that's a moment where I go, hold on a tick.
Also, the kid in the fish tank, is that a Damien Hirst reference? Is that a reference to the physical impossibility of death in The Mind of Someone Living, 1991?
Yeah, you know it is.
Formaldehyde.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. You know me, I know this.
It's such an interesting reference for Saint
the show
Trinian.
really intelligent very quickly.
Let's go back to finance. So, look at Lucy Punch. She's kind of attractive in a very unattractive fashion. I think she's got like a face that just says, I want to punch you. Because her last name is Punch as well.
Lucy Punch is such a name.
Who's this woman?
She's the French teacher. Or
Oh,
Spanish, I can't remember.
Spanish.
Spanish?
I thought it was French.
No, it was Spanish.
It was Polish.
It was. I don't know how to speak either. I know a bit of.
I like this line. Nope.
Nope.
'Cause she, like you said, confidence. She had a lot of confidence just stepping up.
Her character was bugging me through the movie because I know that actress from something and I refused to look it up until the very end. And then I'm like, oh, she's an Ab Fab, of course.
Was she the one that was yelling out the wrong answer?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, that was one of the ones that I got right. So when she was saying whatever it was, I'm like, no, it's pineapple. What's she?
And then the
going
movie's
for?
teaching you a lesson. Now, guys, this film is 10 years old.
Yeah.
How do we feel about that, Grace? I mean, you must feel a lot of things. You've changed a lot in those 10 years.
How would you know?
Because you just said
Because
that
everyone
you changed a lot in these
Because
10
everyone
years.
does.
Now, you know Grace has always looked the same. Like, from
Always
the
been this
womb.
way.
Same size, same height,
Yeah, hair's
same
been,
glasses.
always been like this.
Same tattoos, you know.
Exactly. To be honest, I don't feel the age, but it's probably because a lot of me doesn't want to feel the age. Like, a lot of me wants to love this movie because I think on it fondly from my youth, despite the fact there are many scenes that I dislike.
Oh, I love this train spotting like scene. It's just a perfect day.
Lou Reed again. I like how it's meant to be like, oh, this is a terrible school, but this just looks like it's really well funded.
That's the thing I said to myself. If they really need to raise money, why don't they sell off all the high-tech theft gear that they have and all the meth-making moonshine
And all
equipment?
their, like, vaguely
and they
exotic
could be
animals.
fine.
Because they can just commit crimes and pay for it that way.
Now, Colin Firth does something very wise here, which is get himself into a masturbatory situation, which we all should do at some point in our lives where we look like we were masturbating over young women who actually are sex workers. That's the thing about
Not at my high school.
That's the thing about this movie, Bartek. It actually took me a bit of surprise because I kind of forgot this. Because that's the thing with seeing movies young. You grow up and you see the adult referencing and stuff. How did you feel, Bartek, going fresh into this with all the adult referencing kind of sexual stuff in this movie that's supposed to be aimed for, I guess, younger girls? What did you think?
Yeah, I guess I wasn't really focusing on the target audience when I was watching this. I was just kind of watching it for myself, I guess.
He was one of the girls.
I think it was one of those, oh, we're doing it for the adults watching this that was misguided.
So you think it was misguided, the sexual stuff in this?
I really do, because it makes it, like, even
Which
when I
part
was
was
younger,
misguided?
it made me uncomfortable. Like,
The blowjob one near the end where the woman's wiping off her lips?
that was particular. Like, that was one of the ones that sticks out of my mind is I dislike the most. But, like, all the, like, whenever, to be honest, whenever the girls, especially the hot totties, speak to anyone but their own classmates, I do get a little bit worried and, like, I do get a bit, like, spiky about it because it's just like, it's not
Raised a
necessary,
stick,
it's not needed, I don't like it. Pardon?
Oh, sorry, she just raised her stick. I mean, terrible.
Terrible. Atrocious.
You know, this show that we do, Unappreciated Masterpieces, it's a show where sometimes we describe it as these films that don't get enough love should, in a way, become cult classics. And cult classics are properly described as films that eventually find their audience. So I suppose this might be a film that the target audience, it might not have been for them.
Sorry.
It might not have been for them, but eventually we as adults, well, I mean, Grace liked it ever since, but adults might find it much later down the line, and that would be the audience that turns into a cult classic.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Hey,
Nick.
Bartek,
Yes?
did you know the English teacher is the woman who plays Cersei Lannister in Game of Thrones?
Yes, but that's a story for when I do the YouTube comments.
Can I share mine?
What?
I knew that Lena Headey was in this movie. I told Grace this before we started. I knew that Lena Headey was in this movie, and I was constantly, every now and then, being like, in my brain, so when's Lena Headey going to get into this movie? And it wasn't until the very end when she's like, you're cheating! And I'm like, oh, that's her! Because, to be honest, 99% of the shots of her are far away.
They are.
So it really didn't highlight who she was, and I'm not used to her obviously younger. and with black hair, her natural look and all that, and with glasses and nerdy look. So it actually took me ages, and why I knew it was her in that lying scene is it pretty much is a Game of Thrones audition tape where she's like, yes, you've got to be liars, and she's getting all more and more Britishy as she's going on.
Okay, see,
This is the correct response to throw Colin Firth out a window at this point.
Yeah, where someone else screams for him.
Yeah, I don't watch Game of Thrones and I have no idea who she was, but because of one of the YouTube comments, I know that she plays
A bitch.
Cersei in
She was in 300.
GOT.
She was in Imagine Me and You.
I haven't seen the first two.
She was in The Purge.
Haven't seen The Purge.
The Purge.
I've not seen The Purge either.
What does that thing say? Oh, I thought it was going to
It's the brand
say...
name.
I thought it was going to say Nope.
Nope.
Like, reference to the... Okay, the whistle would have been blown at that. Like, that wouldn't have been okay, whatever, fine.
The sleeveless hockey look of Gemma Arterton is just very good.
So, have you got feelings for Gemma in this?
I love her look. I love
Do you love
what
the
she's about.
tattoo that changes places on her arm? I do.
He can't escape that wet shirt.
You know what the great thing is about Colin Firth? He always wants to be spacing himself away from Pride and
Darcy,
Prejudice, but he
yeah.
keeps making references to it in pretty much every movie he is in.
I think he's
He
leaving
even gets
into it
humped by
now.
Mr. Darcy.
I think he's well aware. Like, as someone on the internet said, you've made your wet shirt, now lie in it, or something like that.
Well, the one thing I like about Colin Firth is he's aware. He's a self-aware guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I love... Have you seen his interview with the Inside the Actors Studio?
No.
He gets asked the question of when you like go to heaven and you go through pearly gates, what is it that you want to hear from God? And he just wants to hear, I thought you were good at Mamma Mia. From God.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, Pierce Brosnan's the best in that movie anyway, so, you know, what are you going to do?
Have you guys done Mamma Mia?
No, of course not. I'm not going to subject myself to Mamma Mia. It's appreciated, damn it.
Then
You sure
Grace
you
and
don't-
I will do it together. then.
Exactly.
So,
Are you sure you don't want to watch Julie Walters, like, slow down?
how about Toby Jones
Mind.
with a bit of his shirt tucked out?
An unkempt Toby Jones.
Now, when this happened, Bartek, this scene here with the bank manager guy,
Yeah.
who did you think he was? Because they didn't establish who he is. So
Like,
there's
if
just
you
this
would've
guy
taken-
who looks mortified.
If you were to take this like whole shot out of context, this looks like a really serious, almost artsy thing. Like, look at how the conviction on his face to not really move.
But it's because he smells something real bad and he just doesn't want to breathe it in anymore.
That could be an interpretation. Yeah.
I'm interpreting things. I actually thought, is he a guy from the party that like, did I miss the party scene? Like, was I not paying attention?
Yeah, there was no party.
No, but that's what I'm like, and he came there and they said, oh, sit down here. And he just sat down there for the entire party and waited. I came up with a backstory for this guy. I'm like, okay, so
Before,
what?
like, in the time it took to explain who he is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because look, they're like, now is only just getting to it. We've had like a minute and a half of establishing before he
approaching
actually
a
gets
minute, I'd
established
say,
and a half. Before he gets established. So his character was fully formed in my book, in the book of managers. He was great. Now, with all the film camera stuff, Grace, do you think it serves a lot in the film? Like, you know, having the James Bond technology?
To be honest, it's a bit of not a minor thing because they do use it a lot, but it's not really drawn great attention to. Like, it's...
But it shows that she shouldn't be a daddy's girl.
What?
The main character, she finds out through video cam that she should not be a daddy's girl.
Like, it's
hold on.
very convenient, and I like that
Main
they have
character
these
in quotes.
Yes.
Hey, she's our main character.
No, she's billed, like, halfway down.
Yeah, because no one knows.
Tallulah Riley?
Tallulah. Yeah, Riley. You got it. You know who she is? She's my favourite Tallulah.
Every time I come on this show and I'm watching movies beforehand, I have Wikipedia up next to it, and I have IMDb up next to it. So, I like, every time a song was on that I liked, I'm like, I'm gonna go scroll back down to soundtrack. Oh, it's Girls Aloud.
Oh, fuck. It's the nerd chick again.
Geek Ryan.
You got me there, Bartek. I
Get
screwed.
her to the geek.
I didn't realise that was Gemma over her shoulder because I didn't see her hairstyle.
This had me laughing.
I also laughed because it reminded me a lot of
Suicide.
yeah, that's it. And that's a fun subject matter to laugh at.
Is that a blunt?
Yes,
Excellent.
it's in one of the reviews that I have.
Nice.
It's not in the comments.
Oh, here's the barbed wire necklace.
Just take the tie off. If you're not gonna wear it...
It's called style, Ryan.
Fashion Ryan's gonna go crazy.
I'm a fashion expert. We covered this in Vampire Academy and in what was the one recently that we covered where they wore just a dress and it was like, oh, is this their sexy dress too? And it was just Zoom. Literally covered this last episode. If you're gonna wear the tie, wear the tie. If you're gonna wear the barbed wire necklace, wear the barbed wire necklace.
Ryan,
Don't just fucking half.
She's wearing that barbed wire necklace.
Yeah, but you can't wear the tie and the barbed wire necklace at the same time properly.
You can, as she is.
You can.
proving.
Look, she's not.
Also,
She's
this
not
is such a
wearing.
2007
She's not
style.
wearing the tie.
This is such a 2007 style. Avril Lavigne invented this.
Avril Lavigne was before
she
2007.
didn't die just... Wasn't
Avril Lavigne was like
2007?
2003.
I know she was, but it wasn't Hey Hey You. I don't like your girlfriend. Wasn't that 2007? Or at least
No.
close? Can I Google it?
No.
Yes.
Thank
one of
you.
the hosts said yes.
Yes.
Outvoted
No,
Ryan.
no.
I got
Before we go on,
permission.
the matron character, I found out she was an ab fab, right? But that wasn't the show I knew her from. I was like looking at going, who is she? I knew her from an old TV show where she appeared in 2 episodes of a 40-episode show with Rick Mail called the New Statesman. And I
You
was like,
knew from the New Statesman?
Yeah.
Doesn't he play Rick Bastard or Bastard?
Alan Bastard.
Alan Bastard. There
And
we go.
That's a good name, Rick Bastard.
Alan Bastard.
Alan
I was
Bastard.
thinking Rick because that is his name, and also
No,
his
he's
name
Rick
in
in the Young Ones. And
Yeah, Rick Mail is his name.
No, but he's Rick in the Young Ones.
I know he is.
I
I,
know.
said both of those things.
You want to say it again?
Don't you try and school me at the Young
Hold on,
Ones.
Ryan.
I swear to God.
His name is Rick Mail.
He's
Get it?
dead now.
Yeah.
Not in our hearts.
Yeah, he died during a Busco meeting or something.
Yeah, I was like, can we not do this now?
Oh,
Rick
I've got
Mail
to establish
died.
what Busco is now.
Grace and I used to be in a student theatre company. Rick Mail died, and I said, can we go home? And I was told no, it wasn't a good enough excuse.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes it is.
I actually stood up and said, Rick Mail died today. Can I go home?
Yeah, you, me, and Luke were just like, yeah, I'm actually genuinely sad about that. And everyone was like,
Everyone's
who?
like-
And I'm
everyone's like,
oh, please.
Drop Dead Fred. And I was like, I hate Drop Dead Fred,
the
but...
young ones, you know.
I was like, I love him in Bottom. Let me go home and watch some Rick Mail do slam poetry,
Yeah,
please.
let me watch Guest House Paradiso, please, I beg you.
We should do that on the show. There's Simon Pegg in it.
Does it?
And Bill Nighy. Simon Pegg is the young couple with the guy in the young with the family, and he gets he has a nipple ring, and it's like they use a fishing line to try and rip it off.
Oh
and
no.
that's the young Simon Pegg.
Hey, look, guys,
Yeah,
our
I'm so
main
big.
character is developing a bit.
The dog.
Mr. Darcy. the
Mr.
dog.
Darcy. Here's a fun fact. On IMDb, it says Mr. Darcy as Mr. Darcy, uncredited. And then it says in the credits
Yeah,
here, a different
introducing.
dog. So
What?
it says such and such dog as Mr. Darcy. It's like, so who was the real Mr. Darcy? I don't know. So this is a scene that you saw in all the trailers. This is the scene that they took. Russell Brand teaching them the 7 laws of crime. And I find
Laws
really...
with a
No,
Z.
they're brainstorming types of crime. It's not
No, but
laws
yeah,
of
no,
crime.
it says they're right there. The 7 laws of crime. Can
Oh.
you read? Jeez, Grace, if you're gonna come to this podcast
You gotta
with
learn
your
to read.
with your financial facts that are wrong,
I'm
and
saying they're a fact.
this and this and this, you're getting everything off.
why
You're gonna
would
get
it
your
tell
Avril
me?
Lavigne wrong.
Why would it
soon.
tell me what year it came out? Alright, here we go. 2007. 27th of February 2007. We are coming up on the 10-year anniversary of Girlfriend.
All right.
How dare you?
Well, I was still right about the
I
law.
know my Avril Lavigne, sir.
Is that a great fact to state? I know my Avril Lavigne, sir. Is that a good fact to state?
Don't know. It's in fact. I didn't state the goodness or badness of it.
It's as good as Russell Brand's acting
It
as a
can't
German gay
get
man.
any more obvious.
So, Bartek,
That's me.
when you watch this film,
Yeah, Ryan.
what character
Yeah.
spoke to you the most? Not your favourite,
Yeah.
but like in The Breakfast Club. What one do you relate to the most? They don't have to be your favourite. What one did you relate to the most? Who are you in this?
Who am I in this?
Who are you?
Is
mum.
is that like you're asking me which clique you think I'd be? in,
No,
or,
which
like,
character?
Which character?
I know which clique you would be.
I know.
Don't say geek.
First year. You're a child.
Always
I'll
rubber.
take it. I'm I'm the oldest one of the three of us. What's that about?
Yeah, you are, I think.
Grace is really old, though.
I'm very young. How dare
So
you?
Grace is, like, old enough to remember the originals when they came out. We didn't want
The
to say it.
originals?
The original Trinians.
How dare you? I'm so young. I'm younger than both
That's
of
what
you
an old
put together.
person. That's what an old person would say.
No, an old person say young at heart.
Yeah, eat it.
Grace doesn't have a heart.
This is very true.
She
because
laid
I
Did
it.
you hear that,
She
Ryan?
literally
She
ate
said-
it.
Ryan,
Yeah.
she said eat it.
Eat
Old
it.
people don't say that.
Eat it, beat it,
Yeah.
schmeat it. So who do you relate to, mate?
Eat it.
While you were arguing, I was like, yes, I'm going to think about the answer, but then I have to interject. I don't know. Why don't you answer first, then I'll...
I really... Considering they're all female characters...
Who cares?
I know, but that's... No, you're like, who
Sexist
cares?
Ryan? Oh my god, I can't believe
No,
you.
no, they're all very,
I'm
very, very
disgusted.
feminine. But out of them, the one I think I relate to the most would be Mischa Barton. As the PR expert in that one scene.
She's trying with that accent. She's trying.
Is that an accent?
She's trying.
Is
I
she
look-
not supposed to be American?
I looked her...
No,
Hold on,
she's trying an accent.
I hadn't heard of her. I looked her up, and apparently she's British-American, so I guess she has one of those hybrid accents.
So I liked her. I related to her. I would say Russell Brand as well, but I'm gonna go her out of the students definitely, because she succeeded. She knew the gift of the gab and all that, and I feel like I reckon I could do PR. I reckon I could give it a try. Give me a go. Hire me. You know, I know one's famous because they don't have me.
No one's
What
famous.
about you, Grace? Who do you relate to?
I
Which
don't know
Trinian
about
were
relate
you?
to, but the one that spoke to me the most was Kel's, Gemma Arterton's character, but just because I really...
Because you wanted it to be in her pants, wasn't it?
No, that is incorrect. It's just because, I don't know, she just has the fucking cool factor that is just very
What
good
about
and
this
appealed
girl?
to me when I was younger. I don't know if I relate to any of them, to be honest.
Wow. Yeah, Grace, you know, you could be Mr. Darcy.
I wish.
Humping legs.
I'll be
the
Mr.
dog.
Darcy's leg.
The dog, how dare you.
Like how you thought I meant Colin Firth.
I did. I'm like, I don't
Everything
see
I
where
mean-
this is going.
Okay. Everything I say is not in relation to Colin Firth unless I specifically say Colin Firth, okay?
I just want to talk about
Like,
Colin
look,
Firth.
Russell Brand. No, I'm not talking about Colin Firth, Grace. Jesus.
I just want to talk about Colin Firth. Leave me alone.
I really like the actresses of the little
twins, the
girls.
Mayhem twins.
I think
Yeah.
they were really, really well done because they played it just the right amount of brattiness, like just right. Good job, Cersei. Keep them in.
Keep them in.
Yeah, Cersei would later
There
have
was
some kids of her
not
own.
Many girls on that fucking bus.
Ryan, you went.
Like a
Did you
clown
go to a
bus.
school where you had to wear a uniform?
A public school. Yes, we had to wear a uniform, but not like this.
Yeah, because when they had that whole line about having to uphold the school's image, that just gave me flashbacks to high school.
Well, in my final years of high school, I wore jeans, and the teachers didn't care because I was vice captain as well, so they definitely didn't care. That they should have cared more.
Oh, you were second head boy?
Yeah, I was
Yes.
second head boy. So they really should have cared that I wore jeans to the Anzac Day ceremony, but they really didn't. You know why? Because they're really good jeans.
I think.
And our uniforms were blue, so it matched the jeans. So I was alright.
My last 2 years of high school, we got free dress in senior school in year 11 and 12.
Oh, what
So
was that?
I did wear jeans to Anzac Day 2 years running.
I was uniform all the way.
You were boys' school.
Yeah, all boys.
So, wait. Yeah, we can get Bartek's perspective. You didn't go to a girls' school, did you?
No, I went co-ed.
Yeah. You went to just a boys' school.
all boys.
This is an all-girls school.
I did productions at an all-girls school.
But hold on. Did you find that your boys' school was similar to this? Or what was the differences between St. Trinians and Bartek High?
Well, our school was by the beach, and I think some of the students were a bit rich, and we were like super Catholic, and we had brothers around the place. In fact, there
What
was,
do you mean, brothers?
As in
Like the male version
religious
of nuns.
brothers.
What does that mean? I didn't go to a Catholic boys'
It's
school.
like it's just the male version
They're
of
like-
nuns, isn't it?
They're kind of like monks, but not monks. They're brothers.
So they're not priests.
No.
So are they priests in training?
No.
You've heard the term brother before. Don't be like this.
I really haven't. I'm not a good Catholic.
Isn't it just male nuns?
Is that what they are?
I think so. Is it not?
Yeah,
So are they
Kind of.
are they groomsmen of Christ?
Groomsmen of Christ.
Because the groom of Christ, I imagine, would be...
I think...
Oh yeah, nuns are brides of Christ or something, aren't they?
That's exactly what I meant, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So if they're the boy nuns...
They're not
That's a great name, by the way. Boy nuns. For the band of Catholics. Like, we got a new band. Boy nuns.
The high school that I went to is the origin of the band Jet and the current band Ocean Grove.
Jets? They recently came back to support Bruce Springsteen.
Yep.
The boss.
Anyway, what were you asking me about
Love
going to
your
all boys school?
What's the similarities and differences you see between this? And you were like, we had a beach. We were rich and very Catholic.
Well,
They have a river.
Well, I'm
They're
saying,
Catholic.
Ryan,
The
that
Thames.
I'm saying that their attitudes are a bit differently, and because it was a super Catholic school, even though this one was the Saint school,
So you didn't have a fretting in
I
charge.
feel like it wasn't as crazy. I mean, you're asking me to compare my school to this by one aspect, but this has the one aspect of it being a super crazy school, whereas my school wasn't super.
Well, that's what I
crazy.
mean. But it has
Unless
many
you talk
aspects.
to a
This is
super atheist who's like, "Oh,
This
you're
is
Catholic,
an
you are crazy."
all-girls Catholic school
Yes.
with privatization and money. Oh, well, evidently no money. Oh, no, they have science equipment, Grace. They have many money.
Yeah, they've got a chameleon.
They got boy nuns.
They got.
So this is based on the cartoons, right? Or like the origin cartoons, drawings?
No, it's based on the cartoons from the little comic strips for the disgusting science facts that you used to learn from with Rick Mail as well. Fun fact. I think it was horrible science. Like, pretty sure.
Are you horrible science with Rick? I do not remember this.
Rick Mail used to do like the voiceovers for the ads of you can get your horrible science back at the post office with like each week.
For a second, I thought you were talking about that gruesome tales for gruesome kids that was narrated by Nigel Planer.
Yeah,
from the Young
but
Ones.
Rick Mail had an equivalent of that show in his live action, where he sat in a chair that had emu legs. It was called, I think it was called Grim Tales.
I've heard of this, but I don't think I've seen it.
So enough Rick Mail. I mean, you know what would have been great? Actually, Rick Mail should have been Flash Harry. I would have watched the fuck out of that.
Oh, me too.
Where if he hit on the girls, you'd feel wrong about it, but also like right about it.
No,
because the
I
weird
still
thing about
feel
Rick
wrong.
Mail was he was actually really like he had a lot of sexual charisma to him, and like especially in the New
Lord
Statesman.
Flashheart.
Yeah, and Lord Flash
Yeah.
and New Statesman. Like he was actually a really attractive guy, but he could just pull faces really well. He would have been great in this. Like he
On
would have
the one
walked up with that
hand-
voice as well.
On the one hand, yeah, but then we'd kind of be robbed of what Russell Brand brought to it.
Can we not be robbed of Russell Brand?
Well, I mean, he doesn't do too much
Hey.
films these days, does he?
No, he does lots. Yeah.
Didn't he, like, stop to do more political stuff or something?
He's doing documentaries. Good for him, man. He's doing documentaries. Isn't that
I
cool?
didn't say a word.
You gave me a look like, don't bullshit me, Ryan.
No, I gave you the look that's just like, here we go. What's he gonna say now?
He actually does serious documentaries about political stuff.
You're missing Mischa Barton. And her.
Am I missing Mischa Barton or Shipper Barton, like you just said?
I said Mischa Barton.
Sure.
I have been thinking about your earlier question about which character I think speaks to me, and I don't get to say it because I want to ask what Grace is laughing at now.
I'm laughing at you.
At me?
Yeah. It's like, I'm thinking about the question you asked me 10 minutes ago that you've already answered. And I love
haven't
it and
answered
I want to
it.
hear. Have you answered it?
I
Oh,
haven't.
No, Bartek never answers questions straight
Because
away.
because I keep getting interrupted, and then it gets to the point where we tangentialize so much that we forget about it. But I remember, because Bartek never
remember.
forgets, except time we start doing recording.
Go, Bartek, go quickly while she's laughing.
I leaned away from the mic to laugh because, dear God, that was
Was that too real?
that was just
Bartek
so
came to the
real.
podcast 2 hours late,
2
ladies and
hours
gentlemen.
late.
He almost put a previous guest, Luke Peveril, to shame. Grace and I were actually considering making a new show called Spit and Grace. or
Spit and be graceful about it.
Doc Brown and Ryan's Adventure. Because Grace Brown, are you related to Doc Brown?
Not related to Doc Brown.
Are you
no.
related to Pooh? Because that's Brown.
How dare you? Take that back.
Okay, you're not related to Doc Brown. I'm sorry. So, Bartek, who do you relate to? Quickly.
I actually think the headmistress.
I knew you were going to be the man in the dress.
She's such a...
Well, like you said, Ryan, it's like with the British comedy, that's not really the joke, that's just a funny thing. But I
Yeah.
think her character, also relating to something you said because you're the smart,
You're the smart.
you said
And
that...
the fun.
And the fun. This film...
How dare you? Incorrect.
You're the guest. That's all you are.
This film is very genuine and confident with its characters, despite being very out there and farcical. And I think that character right there, even though it's got the whole thing that people slammed off it, this is not realistic. This is a character who's male. Well, I mean, sorry, this is an actor who's male playing a female character. But the whole love tension between the headmistress and Colin Farrell is played genuinely.
Colin Firth.
Did I? Now I said
Farrell?
the one
Mr.
that,
Darcy.
Not the dog.
the one that the King's Speech dude,
Colin Firth, yep.
Colin Firth.
Jeffrey Rush.
I just think it's brilliant that you can have a character who's got this really crazy characterization and you can play it genuine. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's me.
Sure. Something interesting about Rupert Everett too. Like I commented earlier about this character has always been like a man in a dress. On the actor. I mean, not the character. So it's very interesting where the line is for people. Like a lot of people that they just didn't want to cross. They're like, no, I don't accept this. And I've had instances like that. Like I saw the musical of Matilda on stage. And I was actually very disappointed that Trunchbull was played by a man played by a man. I was like, I was expecting they would have actually got like a woman to do it because I'm like, that's such a great female character as well, like as a monster. And it's weird where the line is for some people in this issue, and maybe this film challenged people too hard on where that line is for them. Like, with Grace, it challenged her values on whether or not giving gobbies to find out about lasers. Maybe that's too much for Grace to handle. And for me, growing up, characters with names like Peaches, that's what the line was for me. And Bartek, who knows
Well, I've
where
seen
his
Ice
line...
Age 4, so I know about Peaches killing a name.
Continental Drift?
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's what Manny's daughter's name is.
Continental Drift?
Is that the one that... no, that's the dinosaur one. Isn't 4 the dinosaur
That's
one?
the third one.
The third one? Okay, that's
fucking
the one.
The fourth one is the one where Drake plays a mammoth.
Now, we haven't talked about the elephant in the room. Stephen Fry.
I mentioned him earlier.
You haven't talked about him while he's in the room. What do you think of Stephen Fry? He's playing himself in this as well, might I add.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
I didn't really catch that he was playing himself.
It's quite
Like, did they actually
Stephen
say...
Fry is Stephen Fry.
Yeah, but did they actually say this is Stephen Fry?
think they-
No, I think they just call him Sir and Mr.
Yeah, so...
I think it's because they don't have to, because that's Stephen Fry.
And he
Yeah.
does QI, and he does a lot of these hosting things, so he's basically playing the equivalent of himself. And he does say stuff which is only very Stephen Fry-esque, like...
He gets very, a bit of Fry and Laurie later on when he takes the uppers.
He gets very QI when he takes the uppers, if I'm 100% honest. What do we think of him in this film? Because we've already covered a bit of him on Thunderpants, but it was actually...
He was a minor character.
He was
there.
refreshing to see him in this, where he's also not a villain, because he was a villain in Thunderpants. I actually like seeing
He
him...
was an asshole, yeah.
Yeah.
An antagonistic figure, but not really the main villain.
No, a villain. There was no villain in
Yeah.
that movie, other than the Society.
Oh yeah, the British Society.
So,
They were the devil.
this movie, I like Stephen Fry being able to take a moment of fun to play with himself. Like, not play with himself, but play himself. And what I find interesting is Stephen Fry is a very interesting guy. He is, like, bipolar, and he's gay, and
He's
very...
bipolar?
Yeah, and he's very, very intellectual, and he's got a lot of existential angst. So when I see that scene in this, where he's like, is this all there is? And all that, I'm like, that's just Stephen Fry. And I made a joke, he's talking to the director, probably. Like, there's a bit later where he's like, you hear him, like, in the background, like, in the quiz saying really silly, weird things. Like, wouldn't it be great if it was him talking to the director, like, honestly, being like, you have no idea what you're doing. Like... But I like the fact that he takes uppers and downers. Stephen Fry also used to do some drugs as well, especially being bipolar. He would have to take that kind of medication. So when they give him uppers and downers, I just sat there going, Stephen Fry knows what these are. He doesn't need to pretend that he doesn't. Not only is it the fact he's done them before, but he's also an intellectual, so I really doubt that Stephen Fry is perplexed by drugs. Like,
So
you
this
know what I
is-
mean? Like uppers and downers, which
This
have
is
been
a
around
really-
since forever.
Really philosophical thing. Like, he's playing himself, but he's doing he's reacting to things like he himself wouldn't. So is he acting? Is he not acting?
Plot twist, it's actually Hugh Laurie dressed up as Stephen Fry. He unzips the mask. And he's like, ta-da! Now to be really serious in House.
Hey, look.
Now I am American.
I don't know how I feel about the TV show House. I think I don't like it.
It's one of those, because it's on Netflix, it's one of those ones that whenever me and my friends are trying to decide what to watch on Netflix and we can't decide, it's like, do you want to just watch House? Yeah, we'll watch House. Let's find one of the guest episodes.
Can we cut back to their shot of him they're taking? No, not that one. They did a shot earlier, it was like one of the cameras, it was like on a wonky angle. I'm like, straighten that up, mate. Like, sure, keep that in. There was a moment in this film, like, this film's great, but with every film there's technical errors. Not every film, even Citizen Kane, can't be perfect. There was a moment for me, I was saying this to Grace before we started the show, that it just cracked me up. There's a moment in this where Russell Brand has to pretend to be German and gay.
Yes.
And he has this dialogue he's speaking to the other Rupert Everett character, because we haven't really mentioned Rupert Everett plays two people in this, and he did a lot of the behind the scenes stuff for this too. He really campaigned for this to get made. Yeah, he really campaigned to get this made. Great camera angle.
Yeah,
I really love. It reminds me of certain John Travolta movie, Pulp Fiction, of course. No, it makes me this editing style that they have with this Russell Brand moment where he's talking and it just cuts to another scene. Like, usually it's like you could tell by the way it was done he was halfway through a sentence and they just cut it. And it was great because it reminds me of this film shows us that even the big studios use Windows Movie Maker to pile the film together. And it really made me feel. There's a transition scene that, Grace and I briefly talked about. I think, Grace, you said it was your favourite transition shot. In which is a couple of moments later where I think it's like one of the girls is like looking up and it all becomes weird and blue above their head.
Say that was my favourite.
And she said it was a favourite shot.
You're putting words in my mouth.
And transitions shot. And it becomes all weird and blue in her head and it goes up and it's the sky and now we're outside Trinians. This is what we call masterclass filmmaking. And you know why it's masterclass? Because this film needed 2 directors. 2 male directors. How do we feel? Also, how do you feel about that? Like, pretty much most of the writers are men and the directors are men for this female empowerment movie.
Explains a fair bit. Like, I'm not surprised.
What does it explain? The sexualization?
Yes, it does.
Well, one person who did make a comment about the 2 directors, right?
Who?
Well, like you mentioned before, it was actually Orson Welles.
Oh.
He looked at this film and thought, when I made Citizen Kane, I was the only director. I should have had another. I knew it. I should have had another.
And he really should have hired, Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis is actually, a genius behind the camera. You know that, right? You know Jerry Lewis I can't remember, he invented something that actually changed the way that we do movies now. Something for the camera. Jerry Lewis is actually an inventor.
Did he invent the record button?
No. But no, he invented something very essential. I can't remember what it is. I love that. This is my favorite outfit. No, like a physical thing, a device or something. Now look at this outfit. I've not seen such great costume design since Thunderpants. We haven't seen, but look at this, Grace. How do you feel?
How do I feel?
About this outfit?
I loved her descent down the stairs because it was just so quick.
I love that the outfit's a mixture of Queen Elizabeth and Queen Victoria. It's like the 2 most powerful that she could choose. And he's got the Prince Philip on. Happy with that one?
Look, the flying dog.
And this is the favourite moment for everyone in the cinema. Everyone cheers, don't they, Grace, when they see the dog go in?
Go into the shredder?
Yeah. You know what my favourite part was? There was enough of the dog to bury in one mound. The mound of the dirt was really high as well, so there was enough dog left over to bury. I don't know if you noticed that, but I did. So, I relate to Mischa Barton. You relate to the headmistress.
Which one's Mischa Barton?
She was the PR one.
Right, that's right.
We went over this.
I know, but it's been a while.
But I think really deep down, my personal favourite character is Russell Brand as Flash Harry. I think he just brings the heart and soul to this movie that needed to be there. And I like the fact that at the end of the movie, I don't know, but do you think he pimped himself out?
What, to more men?
No, to Rupert Everett's character, because Rupert Everett kisses him on the mouth.
Yeah.
and they have this kind of acknowledging look, and Russell Brand is all like flustered and just runs out of there. And I thought, at first I thought, maybe you guys can view it for me and try and see in the lens that I'm seeing in, like, did he actually pimp himself out to get this painting done? Because Rupert Everett was
Rupert
pretty...
Everett wants it from him.
No, but Rupert Everett wanted to give him, like, the pleasure.
That
was the whole scene where it was
Rupert Everett thought that would get the painting off of him.
No, I thought Rupert Everett was actually interested.
No,
I don't know. I thought he
watch
wanted...
the
and
scene,
since
it's
Rupert
very
Everett
obvious.
himself is very gay, I thought that was really sincere from that character, because who knows, that character could be gay. Like, actually, I thought that moment, the dad's gay, or he's bi, or he's bi.
Yeah.
And I thought Russell Brand actually fulfilled that homosexual encounter that the Rupert Everett was willing to participate in, because the way they both interact.
But through the thing, Flash Harry is like basically throwing up in his mouth and being generally offensive.
And he looks genuinely sick by the time they're selling the painting, and he gets a kiss on the mouth, and he's like, but honestly, you could see it as, he's just flustered because he's been playing this too long and he wants to be Flash Harry, and also he's doing a higher level of crime than he's used to and playing espionage and all that. But I don't know, I just interpreted it as, did he pimp himself out? And see, we're having a debate about it.
Clearly didn't.
No.
Clearly didn't.
Because if I thought of it, if I interpreted it that way, there's a possibility, and that is what's great about this movie. It's subjective. It's allowing us to have this debate, Grace. Not every film. Have you seen Citizen Kane? It's telling you what it's about. It's not letting you feel it. It's telling you. Well, this film here, it's letting you feel. It's letting you question. And Russell Brand's performance is one of the key moments of this film. One of the keys that unlock the mysteries of Trinians.
You can't keep the German accent off, but I feel like that adds to the comedy of it.
I think this
Whether it
bit
was on
to
purpose or not.
him saying, I am German, that actually got a real big belly laugh out of me. Like, I got a real big belly laugh, and I liked the crucifixion earlier of the little girl. That was like the first joke I properly out loud laughed and clapped at. Like, I went, ha ha, like that. When it just had
Catholic school.
That jump cut, she was crucified on the chalkboard, and there was nothing said and nothing done. Russell Brand, look at him, wiping off Rupert Everett's trousers. Who hasn't?
I haven't.
Are you sure?
He didn't go to school with me.
Are you sure? It's Rupert Everett. You okay?
You wiped the trousers of people you went to school with.
What?
He wiped the trousers.
Oh, I mustn't have wiped his trousers. He didn't go to school with me. I only wiped trousers of the people I've gone to school with.
Yeah, like the boy nuns.
You've really never heard of Brothers?
No, not really, because I also grew up in a country town, so we didn't get the luxury. Even the Catholic school wasn't as probably well funded as yours. It wasn't even an all boys, all girls. It was just a Catholic school, so they probably didn't even have nuns. The best they had were just teachers who happened to be Catholic. That was it. There was no brothers. There were no nuns. There was no nothing. I'm used to that.
I went to Uniting Church School, and not even all the teachers were religious.
I got really confused. In my final years of high school in a public school, we got given a chaplain, a school chaplain.
We had a school chaplain.
And I was really confused because I thought we don't get those. Like, she really looked like the Vicar of Dibley.
She looked like Geraldine Granger.
Yeah, she looked 100.
Was she Dawn French? Possibly.
It could be. But I don't think it was, because that was when Dawn French lost a lot of weight and was selling meat for Coles.
No, she was selling car insurance for Coles.
Oh, fuck, it's the same
Still is,
difference.
I believe.
There's meat involved.
There's meat involved in car insurance. Car insurance.
Car insurance?
Car insurance.
My favourite. Look how much of a dog there is to bury. And look here, guys. This movie's modeled. It's making an Italian Job reference in this one very scene. The Mark Wahlberg classic. Or Michael Caine, whichever one you want. I don't really care. Did you know that Edward Norton had to do the Italian Job? Like, he didn't have a choice. He had to be in it. Like,
How?
Because contracts.
Oh, okay.
He had no choice. Like,
I thought he just had.
It was like
he was
you get to
compelled
do Fight Club, but you have to do the Italian Job in return. And he's like, oh, okay. So that's why you see him in some movies.
Isn't that why Vin Diesel did Triple X, because he wanted to do Chronicles of Riddick?
Yeah. It's also why Vince Vaughn does every movie.
He does every movie so he can be in every movie?
Yeah, I really wish Vince Vaughn was in this movie as the goth.
I was actually gonna...
I mean, emo.
Yeah,
Get it right, Ryan. Bad, Ryan. Smack in the face. You should slit your wrist. Not really. Don't do that, Ryan. You're a good boy.
I can back you up on that. You are a good boy.
You're the fun.
I remember this was the scene where...
Unlike Grace, who's the guest, yeah.
In this scene here, there's eventually
The guest cannot be fun.
there's eventually a editing effect where they show like every single character like lined up in squares. The rightmost ones had the twins, but I was sitting kind of far from the screen and wasn't paying full attention. I thought there were like two random police officers. Yeah. So when I paused to rewind, I looked at it like the timeline for how far I'm through the movie. I'm like, Jesus, this feels like it's going to the ending, but there's still half an hour left.
I like the fact that this is really music video, the film.
Yeah.
No, here's something I just noticed, Grace. You know, you were talking about confidence, and we were talking about confidence and Gemma Arterton. Look at her, the way she walks. She's the most confident. Not like everyone else who just like walks normal. She walks where she makes her entire chest, not just her breast, but her entire chest go from left to right. She's strutting her stuff. I mean, look at everyone else. They're fine. But none of them are Gem. In this Gem. Is she the best one for you? Is she your favourite?
I think she's one of my favourites. I do quite like Miss Fritten as well, just because Miss Fritten really stands up for Annabelle.
Yeah, and like I said, Fritton's really the main reason you come to see this. It's that classic character that you don't see enough of, but you see right amount. Like, you want to see more of them. You feel like you don't see enough of them in the movie, but what you do see is gold, and it makes you want to see more. And did I say gold? I think that's related to the second movie. I'll keep it for that one.
You're right, no spoilers. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either. Oh. So it'll be a first timer for me.
I have.
Is it good?
Well...
Don't say.
Wait. We've got to have a guess who's seen both. Is this one better than the second one? Was the second one better than the first one for you? You can say...
It depends what you're looking for. To be honest, I think the first one is better, but the second one isn't like that much of a drop.
It has David Tennant in it with grey hair.
Yeah, and being very slimy. And he has a sidekick who I can never remember the name of.
Ah, yes. The TARDIS. So...
So I'm starting to feel like a TARDIS with all these Who references, so let's go back to the film.
All one of the Who references we made. We literally said David Tennant, and then I just said TARDIS, and you're like, too many.
Too many.
Like, I know who David Tennant is.
Can I just say that as someone who does not know Doctor Who, and I see a lot of people on Facebook sharing screenshots from the show with subtitles about things that just don't seem to be about anything, and talking in the comments about how, that was such a great moment. I'm just like, what is this show?
Wait, hold on. You saying that, but that's what we do on this show. We look at movies that seem exactly like those pictures that you see, but they're 95 to 100 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
We cover films where people on the outside would be like, that's not brilliant, that's not, that's just whatever. And we're the guys saying, look at Stephen Fry here.
It's not so much that I'm saying it's not good. All I'm saying is, what is the context of this thing?
You're out of the loop. And that's what we're trying to do for you guys. Get you in the loop. Get you into that Trinian skirt.
So just to end this...
Show your garters.
So just to clarify this whole Who thing, it's basically just Bill and Ted, right?
No, it's more
Less
like...
George Carlin.
More George Carlin needed.
In Doctor Who?
Yeah. They should resurrect his corpse and get it. Him and Bill Hicks. So, now all the girls are wearing black, see? See how they've transformed into beautiful little butterflies?
They're all goths.
No, they're emos.
They've all transformed, Ryan. Even the emo, she's now goth.
Grace, what do you think of Juno Temple's white girl dreadlocks?
I'm not a big fan, to be honest.
What do you think? White people can't do dreads?
Well, clearly Juno Temple did.
As in, they can't? Or as in,
they can't.
Why?
I don't want to get into this ride, to be honest.
Why?
It doesn't look good?
Because, well, one of the many reasons, yeah.
It's one of the reasons, but it's the cultural appropriation.
Correct, yeah.
What? She's got a little clip in it, though, and it's dyed pink.
Come on.
Juno Temple's really stretching out. She's really having to withdraw her tits in this movie.
So she's got to give us something. Is that what you're
She's got to
saying?
give us. She's like, if I can't show you my tits, I can show you what I can do with my
playing
hair.
a school child. Also, how old is Juno Temple now?
Old enough?
So 10 years ago, was she old enough?
Yeah, I think so because I think she did mainly nude roles or just around this time. Yeah. She's usually naked. No, it's like Eva Green. She was in a movie called Dreamers, and she was only 17 years old, and she's like full on naked in that. And there you go. That's a fun fact about Eva Green being nude. If you didn't know that, fun fact, she gets naked too. Look up actresses who get naked on Google. I don't know. I'm not Juno Temple's agent.
Didn't Seth MacFarlane, when he hosted the Oscars, have a song about actresses whose
Yeah, we've
breasts
seen
they've
your boobs.
Except for Jennifer Lawrence's, and eventually we did, thanks to hackers. Or should I say, no thanks, hackers. That's a terrible thing to do.
Hackers? Oh, yeah.
Oh, the leaks.
I thought you meant the
right.
movie. I'm like, Angelina Jolie?
Fuck, I thought you meant every Neil Breen movie ever made.
Oh, if you mentioned Neil Breen again, I swear to God.
So, the little girls use their technique of being children to win the day.
Mm-hmm.
What's a technique of yours that you think you could have used to get out of that situation?
Humour.
You think you could have made the guards laugh, huh? Okay, I'm a guard. Bartek and I are guards. We're walking into this
No,
gallery.
don't make me roleplay with
We're
you.
walking into this gallery.
Oh.
Here you are,
Yeah.
in your outfit that you got on now, with
Yeah.
those glasses, near the Scarlett Johansson painting.
Uh-huh.
What are you doing in here?
What am I doing? I'm not going to roleplay this with you, Ryan. Why do you make me roleplay?
Should I shoot her?
Get your gun. go back to the cafe. Get the gun. We shouldn't have left it there in the first place. Jesus, we're gonna get in so much trouble.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan.
By this time, I have slipped into the toilet.
And that's how you got away.
Yeah.
Okay, I would use my feminine wiles to get my way out of there. Where you guys can play guards, and I'll be like, "Gobbies," and you'll be like, "Yeah, zip." And
Oh, so you're one of the posh studies.
yeah, feminine wiles. And Bartek, I think you would walk up to them.
And go super sane.
No, I think you'd walk up to them and grab their badge and put it on you and be like, "I am one of you," and they're like, "You are," and then they would accept it. Grace used. I imagine when you said I would use my humor, they would walk in and be like, "What are you doing in here?" And you're like,
Knock, knock.
No, what's the deal with art heists?
When have I ever made a Jerry Seinfeld joke?
Every day.
Every day.
No,
Yeah.
she should go like, me being here, except not with me. It's like the YouTube videos of the Bee movie, like you just cut her out.
Every time Grace is a bee, this audio commentary speeds up by 5.
Every time you look at me, you get one closer to dying.
I can't wait for someone to listen to this
Did I
podcast
say
in
one
10
closer? I
years'
meant
time.
1 second closer.
I can't wait for someone to look at the bee memes in 10 years' time and still wonder what was happening there. And then listen to this podcast, it's like, oh, they got it. They nailed it. Every time Grace, every time, what is it? Is it a snake tattoo?
It's a snake, I think. It's a snake wrapped around a sword or something.
What's the sword representing?
I don't know.
Now this girl here, the emo,
Paloma face.
the chick who looks like she really wants to be the evil witch in the Craft. Why can't she just wait? Or why can't she just go first? Climbing across this rope.
Because she's scared.
But she's emo. They don't have feelings.
That's the entire point of being
what?
an emo is that they do have feelings, Ryan.
Oh, is that it?
It's-
Yes, emo is like emotion. Oh
Do you
my
know what emo
God.
stands for? It means emotional. Short for
No,
what it stands for.
no, she said it wasn't that. She says emotionally unstable. That's what she said emo stood for.
Ryan, do you
Yeah, that
really-
means
So
They
they're
have them.
unstable emotion. No emotions is
That doesn't mean a
unstable
lack of
emotion.
emotion. That means if anything
Oh,
sensitive
okay,
emotion.
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So if
I
I
am with
walk around with
Bartek.
no emotions, you wouldn't say, "Oh, he's emotionally unstable," because he's got no emotions.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say he's emotionless.
He's a sociopath.
Or he's stoic.
Yeah, that's it.
Emotionally unstable
Stoic.
is more like you're
Yeah.
sensitive.
No. Stoic.
What?
I'm stoic.
You are not.
I am so stoic that it
Not
hurts
stoic.
you.
No.
I'm not only a stoic, but I'm a strigoi.
See, Grace, this is what Ryan does when he's wrong. He just tries to find a way to be
Right?
funny.
Well, someone's gonna be funny on the show, Bartek. We can't give your character.
I thought
a
Grace is doing really well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Grace's great comedic routine of that song came out in 2007, Ryan. Let me Google. Whee!
And
Why are you holding such a grudge?
Oh wait,
because he was wrong.
the great.
Correct.
No, wrong. The great Grace routine of no, I will not join you in your role play. That would involve humor, which I said I would use, but I won't.
You know,
We one time used to be able to have fun with Grace, but that was when we did Sorority Boys.
I hated Sorority Boys.
Fun fact: if you re-listen to that episode, Grace loves that episode. Loves that film.
You can hear me leave my body. You can hear my spirit leave my body.
And get replaced with good taste for good films.
yummy.
Incorrect.
You know who's incorrect? Stephen Fry's hair. He just doesn't know how to sit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever looked at old QI and his hair's like parted in the middle?
Mm-hmm.
And you look at it now, it's like this, and it's just like, it just is like, give it a rest, Steve. Your hair's given up. Just shave it off.
I don't know if you've really got a leg to stand on by criticising Stephen Fry, Ryan. I think he's gone a bit further than you have.
Okay, fine. I can't. Then you can never criticize Donald Trump or Malcolm Turnbull or anyone who's significantly more powerful
No, that's a good
or
point.
financially secure or anyone. Oh, we
a
live in a world where I can't even stand up to Bartek. Oh no! Ooh, because he's got a beard and I don't. Where does the line end, Grace? Where does the line end?
You know what? Fair enough.
Where,
I
yeah.
agree.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have many legs to stand on. I have 3.
Oh, no.
So,
Penis joke, Ryan?
no, it's a deformity joke, Bartek.
In a way, a penis is a deformity.
If it's on something else, yeah. Yeah, Bartek, we're not going to get into the penis deformity discussion.
Ryan.
Oh, I thought she was going to give her a gobby just now.
Ryan.
Got it on the brain. It's too much.
The penis is the nose of the lower body.
What?
It's clearly the nipple. Get it right. You milk
The
it.
Look,
I
I've seen nothing but trouble. I know what I'm talking about.
I watched that last night. I watched The House Buddy last night.
I know you said you watched nothing but
I did
trouble.
too.
And I was
Did you
like,
really?
Yeah, I was like, I just mentioned nothing but trouble, and you immediately said I just watched it last time. Like, whoa, that's a coincidence.
No, sorry.
we will cover the House Bunny one day.
Good.
Well, we won't. I don't know how I feel about
I
Anna
was on
Faris.
a Colin Hanks bend, and he's in The House Bunny, and I'm like, okay.
Who's Colin Hanks?
Colin Hanks is Tom Hanks' son. He's
Is he-
in Orange County.
The movie?
Yes.
With Jack Black?
Yes.
Is that any good?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. It's on my list.
What's the film?
County.
Orange County. Not OC, the TV show with, what you say?
And Mischa Barton.
Was Mischa Barton?
That is what she's known for!
No, I thought she was a model.
No, she is known for the OC. Ryan, you're going to kill me.
No, seriously.
I'm gonna die.
Wait, Grace. Give me a fucking break. You just said I don't have a leg to stand on. You were wrong. Now you're backpedaling. Give me a fucking break. What? Can you believe that me, when the OC came out, let's just say for argument's sake, I was 11.
What do you know Mischa Barton from then?
I thought she was a model. You
I
know
think
how some
she
people you
has.
just know their names?
Oh, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Like, you know, like, oh, Mischa Barton, she's a model, yeah? Because she's very attractive. It's like how you can say Elle Macpherson's an actress too, but you know her as The Body. McPherson. That's her title, The Body. Because she's hot.
She's also a person.
And it's also like, what's her name?
They call me Bartek the person.
Furiosa. Furiosa.
Charlize Theron.
She's also a model. And I'm like,
She can act, though.
no, I know she can act, but I
The-
knew her as a model for, like, being glamorous more so than her in, like, Monster.
I guess one of our ones that we could say is that the guy that looks like Tommy Wiseau in Vampire Academy, he's apparently mostly a model.
Give me a break.
Which one is the Wiseau in Vampire Academy?
The Russian.
Oh, the Dampier teacher bodyguard that
Yeah.
she falls in love with.
Yep.
Yeah.
But enough
Dimitri?
about that.
Dimitri, yeah.
We got Colin Firth here about to get raped. What? He gets drugged and she fucks him without permission. And Grace just smacked me because I said it. I
Hold
said
on,
the
hold
R
on.
word. I said the R word.
Hold
but
on,
hey.
hold
I
on.
hate it. I
Did they?
Yes. She said that.
She
Said you slipped something in me. It's like penis.
Yeah,
Don't give me that
That's one of the moments I don't like about this film.
where she sexually assaults him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you believe that I don't like that?
No, I think it was your favourite moment, actually.
How dare you? Take that back.
Well, at least
I
you didn't
took
have that.
nothing back.
You bastard.
Grace, you want to know something? I regret nothing.
I know you don't.
I was gonna say, at least it's not like the moment in Sorority Boys where you see the dried ejaculate on his pants or something, or his dress.
Can we not talk about sorority boys?
Can we talk about how this film has a lot of parallels to the movie Seabiscuit with Toby Maguire? That scene there where,
Alright, I
where
will follow. What?
she was leaning over his face and he was looking back. It's like the poster to Seabiscuit with Toby Maguire where he's like near the horse's face, because Rupert Everett in that attire as the headmistress has a real horse face because he's got like the big fake teeth. Mm-hmm. His performance as her was what I like to call teeth acting. Now there's a film I want to cover on this show. I want to check it out first to see if it's worthy. It came out last year called 999 with Anthony Mackie and Aaron Paul, and Woody Harrelson played a guy in that movie. It's a cop movie. He played a guy with false teeth, and he was teeth acting too, where they have false like prosthetic teeth and they have to kind of maneuver around that, where no matter what they do there's that lisp like just comes from having fake teeth in. And I want to do a trilogy of fake teeth movies where you eventually lead up to the movie Teeth. You know, the one where she has teeth in her vagina.
Yes, I'm aware of the movie Teeth.
I have a friend who keeps telling me I should watch it. I'm like, maybe. And he goes, it's a masterpiece. I'm like, is it? That's a movie where every male character is a potential or is a rapist. Even the gynecologist is a professional. What do you do? So, Bartek, did you find them to be your OTP?
Yeah, probably.
Grace, did you write a slash fiction about them?
They're not slash fiction because they're a heterosexual pairing.
Are they?
Yes.
You could write it as Rupert Everett and Colin Firth.
If you wrote
On
real
the behind
person
the
fic,
scenes of this movie.
then yes, it would technically.
So, yes, you
Is it
have.
slash if it's real people?
Yeah, sure. You can have slash of Napoleon and Hitler. They were real people.
Yeah, you can. But is it called slash?
Yeah, it's called historical slash.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can make autobiographical slash if you want.
As in just real life have a gay relationship? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to have real life slash. Just
That's not what you call gay sex. Have real life slash. It also means have a piss. So have a real life piss in a gay relationship. It's called a golden shower, guys. Make sure you wear sunglasses. What? I'm teaching them
How are
safe.
sunglasses going to protect your eyes?
What do you mean? It's not going to get in your eyes if they piss.
Wouldn't you say goggles?
No, because they're too cool for goggles. Goggles aren't fashionable.
You will still get piss in your eyes if you just wear sunglasses.
Why do you say that? How do you know?
I don't know.
Sounds like Grace has been an expert.
Because, Ryan, what happens if they piss on the forehead? It's going to go down.
Well, no, but the forehead's going to be leant back.
You're an expert.
Yeah, I claimed this when we started. You're the one who's like counteracting me. Grace, you haven't got a leg to stand on this.
You've taken one of them.
Yeah, so now I've got 4.
I keep kicking your drink bottle.
You fucking monster. Bartek. When this film chugged along at the rate it did, it took the twists and turns. What were some things that you didn't expect to happen in this movie? Or even people you didn't expect to see?
Well, apart from the obvious of them being in the bed together and how that led to being that. The thing that rhymes with grape.
Grace.
It does not rhyme with grape.
Yeah, it does.
If you change one letter, it does rhyme, but it's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about rape. Go on.
Things that surprised me. I suppose I mentioned earlier in this episode that at first it took me a while to get into this film. And I think it was with the whole hazing thing that happened in the beginning.
Yeah.
I just felt like, are these people going to be the antagonists of this film, or am I actually going to learn to like them? Are they going to mellow out a bit? And then as the film goes on, I compare memories of that to things like sorry, I keep getting things in my throat. Like
It's the gobbies.
like the emo in this scene, in the previous scene, how she was suddenly afraid of heights, and how the hottie toddies, was that the...
Yes.
Hottie toddies had these insecurities about their looks and their intelligences, and even the teachers, like the one from Game of Thrones that you were
And
talking
Stephen
about.
Fry.
And Stephen Fry, what about him?
His insecurities. They give him drugs to help his insecurities.
Yeah, I didn't really focus too much on Stephen Fry.
He just picked his nose, so you should notice.
He scratched his nose.
He picked it, Grace.
Is this going to be a big debate again?
Stop being a Stephen Fry defender.
I don't know, I think just the progression, like, obviously this is a film where one of the first big debates we had was, what is this film about?
Yeah.
With films like that, there's really... It feels kind of redundant to ask what it surprised you, because the whole thing kind of is a surprise. Oh, one thing though I would say is our, again, quote-unquote main character having this whole transformation. You mentioned earlier the whole conformity thing. And not only her transformation, but also the leitmotif of the love is... what is it?
Blind.
No, whenever Colin Firth has his little love days moment with the headmistress.
Yeah.
What was that song?
Infatuation.
Yeah, what was the song?
Love is in the air.
No, that's the credits.
Da, da,
Love is
da,
an
da,
ever-changing
da.
thing?
Love is an erection. Yeah?
Look, whatever it is,
Isn't it, Grace? Expert, though.
both of these elements reminded me of the film Grease, because that song is the first song you hear in the movie, and also the ending ends with Sandy having a transformation.
Yeah, the ending of both are problematic. I've
Yeah.
always found Grease to be a bit of a confusing one, where it's like, if you can't change the bad boy, change yourself.
Change the good girl.
Yeah, become what he wants to be. Become him,
Or
basically.
what he wanted at some
you agree
point,
with that?
I guess.
About Grease?
What are you asking?
About Grease, how it's kind of problematic. Like, it's like, if you can't change the bad boy,
Well, yeah, but
then
I feel...
you be the bad boy.
Yeah.
I always found that gross in that movie.
Do you find that gross?
No, really, I do.
I know.
I don't know. It's mainly because it's so upbeat about it. Like, the music is like, yeah, upbeat, da-da-da. The only
Gross
character
is the word.
Yeah. And I like Kaneki in Grease.
I like Kaneki.
He's dead now, too. The guy who played Kaneki.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
He died a while ago.
He
didn't
died OD, I think.
I think so. Well, actually, not a while ago. 'Cause
Since he was still a dancer, and he always had like severe injuries from dancing, so he just kept taking more and more pain medication.
I had a conflicting thing I was going to say. I was going to say something like, oh, he died last century, but then I remembered he was in Dickie Roberts, while I was also going to say I liked him in Dickie Roberts. As a
Fuck,
joke.
who wasn't in Dickie Roberts? I'll give you an answer. Colin Firth. He was too busy on the set of Trinians, even though this film was made after, I'm pretty sure. He was on this set for years. He got off the set of Pride and Prejudice and he prepped himself for this movie here, Grace. And look at him. He prepped for this realization scene for 2 years. And you can see it on his face. Look at him. He's also looking off the screen saying, there's my paycheck, yay. But look at Rupert Everett. He didn't prepare. He just went in there and said, I'm going to play this however I want. And it worked. Because then we get a naked, or somewhat naked Colin Firth. And did that get your blood pumping, Grace?
This scene.
No, the naked Colin Firth that you get later.
To be honest, I like him better in a suit. Like, not...
Yeah, he's not an attractive guy, I agree.
No, incorrect. Like,
I like a pineapple.
I find the suit to just... oh my gosh.
What?
I like, his body's nice and everything, but it's just the suit did more for me.
Which suit? The one in this or the one in Kingsman?
Oh, the Kingsman
See, look,
suit's great.
and look, he gives him like this little look, like, and it's just like, I don't know.
Because he's like, let this be over already.
I don't know. I think there's just in Rupert Everett. I don't know. I think there's something there, some sordid history.
I feel like if he did have sex with him, he'd look more depressed rather than just like, let's get this over with.
He looks very depressed.
He doesn't look depressed. He looks disgruntled.
He looks
like he just
very,
wants to go.
very depressed. And look at him when he's out. He's like, oh,
Well,
look at
that's
him.
also because he just, played a joke on him in a way.
No, but no. I think they did the slash.
This isn't.
We already figured that out, haven't we,
This
Grace?
isn't the first time this episode, but Grace and I are on the same side.
I love this guy. He was my favourite aspect of Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
I hope he's still doing news. Like, do you ever see that when it's like, say, Australian movies and they have like actual reporters? Like Carl Stefanovic was in the Independence Day movie, the Australian edition, and you hope that there's still reporters are doing something like 10, 20 years down the track. This is 10 years ago. I know that guy.
He looks familiar.
He's He's Inspector something in a TV
Morse?
show. No, he's not Morse.
Not Morse. Is he in Warren the... No, that's Robson Green.
Inspector Lynn or something.
Inspector Lindley. Yeah.
Lindley.
Yeah, my mum watches the Inspector Lindley mystery.
There's his dick. No.
Yes, you do not see Colin Firth's dick.
Are you sure?
See the top of the
I got the extended cut. It's called the foreskin cut.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's circumcised or not?
I don't know. I've not thought about it, to be honest.
Think about it. So this band is a prominent
This is
player.
Girls Aloud.
I don't know who they are.
I don't know,
really
but I know
like
they're
this
popular in
song.
England.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
I actually thought it was actually a really good song to listen to outside of the film. Like, you know, like if say you had this on a soundtrack, like you gave this to a friend on a USB or an MP3 or something or other, and you know, they didn't know Trinians. It's just a fun song, and I think that's what we really need sometimes for these kind of music in films, where the song can stand alone outside of good dancing there. Outside of the material it was originally made for. Like, there's so many, you know, iconic songs that were made specifically with movies in mind as well that just stand alone as great things. Like, you know, Blister in the Sun. That was for a movie called Gross Point Blank. If you watch the film clip for that movie's spliced into most of it. It's a good film. Check it out. I mean, it's no this. Were you a big fan of Girls Aloud?
No, I actually don't really know much about Girls Aloud other than when they're referenced on like the English media I watch and that sort of stuff.
You're listening to the English media, huh?
I watch a lot of panel shows, yeah.
Panel shows?
Like QI. I don't watch a lot of QI. Like
What
QI
happened? No QI.
And Would I Lie to You? I watch it. No QI.
Anything
I
with
watch
David
QI.
Mitchell, I agree.
Yeah, David Mitchell.
Or
Bit
Jimmy
of Mock the Week, Love, Cats Does Countdown.
Yeah, Jimmy Carr stuff.
Yeah, a bit of Jimmy Carr stuff, though I don't watch it for Jimmy Carr.
Nah, he's a terrible individual. Oh, that was my favourite dance section there, the nerds. Oh, good job, Juno. Yeah, just give us a cup of tea. Gemma, she's actually listed pretty late. And those girls, some of them were in the trivia, some of the people in the school challenge were playing themselves, apparently. Their names are the exact same names of the character, like Tasman's playing Tasman.
Wasn't the trivia that just like other cast members are just like named after?
Yeah, like the ones in the school challenge have their names are their names.
I'm with you, by the way, on Russell Brand being one of my favourite characters, but I also want to give props to the students who were drugged with the chamomile tea.
I feel like if she had just got up to them and went, hey, would you like some mushrooms? They would have been like, yeah, I'd love some.
Because
we don't know if that's what happened or not.
They're clearly like musicians, and musicians sometimes have that, not stigma, but like stereotype of, yeah, they like to experiment with drugs.
Yeah. As someone who has played the piano once, I can guarantee you that's not the case. Now, the film has ended. And if, you know, I'm going to go straight into my review. I think the best way to describe this film is confident. I said it earlier, and I'm going to say it again. Confidence is key for this. Every character is flawed in the real world. In our world, I don't think there's a single person, really, that any of us would want to hang out with. Because they're all...
Cheryl Cole off Girls Aloud.
Woo! All of them are selfish or egotistical or rude or a different class system, a different age, you know, all that kind of stuff. They've got lots of stuff going on. But the film, the way it delivers these characters is with a flair, with a style, and with that kind of, yeah, we are girls, woo, boo, men, yay, feminism, you know, like Bender, like Beckham. And I think that's what really is key in this film, is the fact that it's aware of itself, but not winking at the camera all the time. I think the casting choices of Colin Firth and Rupert Everett and Russell Brand, they're the trifecta for me. And I know they're all like the guys in the movie, but I feel like they really even the playing field with the fact that the majority of the cast are female characters, and that these three male actors imbue their characters so well that they're the things that you kind of walk away from when seeing Trinians as well. I think that may also be a weakness, is I personally don't relate to the female characters as strongly. Also, maybe because I'm just a guy, but at the same time there has to be a bridging point, and I do believe that the film does that once they actually focus on the heist. I got invested in the characters, I got invested in their motivations, and once our main character transformed into the beautiful Trinian that she really is deep down, and the real fritten girl that she is. If I have to give this a rating, Bartek, I would give it 9 Russell Brand gobbies out of 8.
It's one more than, the best.
Exactly. Who wants to go next?
I shall, for I am me.
Okay. We've established in other episodes that I am also you, so...
That was a while ago, wasn't it?
It was literally 2 episodes ago. Woo!
2 weeks, wow. So, this film, Saint Trinians, like I mentioned earlier, I started off thinking, will I like this? Where's it going? This feels a bit like some of the other movies that I had a hard time talking about. But then as it went on, much like Ryan, I got into it a lot more, started seeing its identity, started seeing comparisons with it from, Band Slam, sort of Catch That Kid with the whole heist thing, and also Nothing But Trouble with the whole wackiness, for lack of a better term. But things that you guys have said throughout this episode, I've really attached myself to. Like, earlier, one of you, I think it was Grace, was saying that it might have been seen in a way as a coming-of-age film, especially if you follow who our alleged main character is, and I think I interjected that point that it's more of like a finding your place within in a community that isn't that looked upon with high values. It's a bit of a complicated way of saying that, and I think that is the core theme of this film, the whole finding your place in a place that is, even within the film, looked down upon. And I think that it was a beautiful story in that regard, which is kind of funny to say when you think about all the crazy and sometimes immoral, why do I say sometimes, often immoral things that happen in it. But even just putting all that fancy schmancy intelligence stuff behind,
Fuck it.
it's a fun film. And I think that a lot of people who would watch this, don't know walking in blind like I did, but knowing a little bit about it, would see it, walk away from it and think, that was good. That was really good. If I were the production company behind this, I would give it a sequel.
And they did.
Yes. That was originally going to be my rating, but now I kind of squandered it, didn't I? If I have
Did
to
you squander or squandered it?
What did I say?
You said squandered it.
I'm pretty sure I said squandered it.
No, we'll listen back. You said what I said, yeah?
You said squandered, I'm sorry.
Woo! Go, Bartek, go!
I didn't know that was such a major mistake.
It's okay, you're Polish. We'll give you a break.
Fuck you, Ryan. Go fuck a squirrel.
No, you said squirrel correctly there. It was a bit weird. You should have said squandle.
No, because you once gave me this whole thing about how it's squirrel.
So what's your
Bartek,
rating?
what's your rating?
I feel like I'm being talked down to now. I give it a squirrel.
Woo!
A squandered squirrel.
Give us your load.
I say, fuck off. I say squirrel, but like, squirrel is said.
Give us your
He
load.
gave me shit about it
Say
once.
load.
I'm giving you nothing now.
It's like, I thought you said squirtle. I'm like, what?
That's
You
how
think
I
much
believe
you
that
do.
was the Thunderbirds episode.
So I quite like this movie. Like the immoral bits shit me up the wall, and to be honest, you can tell that it's written and directed mainly by men. But I do have a love for the characters in it, and of course, like, I've mainly got nostalgia goggles on when I watch it, so I do enjoy it. So I give it 3 wet shirts out of 5.
That's a lot of wet shirts.
That's a lot of wet shirts.
Now,
Wet with water or sweat?
Water.
come.
Oh, shit.
So,
Stop that.
yeah, Colin.
Ryan, those aren't wet. Those are dry.
We've got reviews here from IMDb, and Bartek has comments from YouTube. Now, When finding the reviews, I found it very difficult, but I found the right amount, and a lot of them are personal stories. Very personal, but each time Grace has come onto the show, there's one reviewer who always goes for an intellectual type of review. This is the first review, and this is the intellectual of the group of reviews I have.
For St. Trinians.
It is basically a thesis, but it is great. It is called Who Let the Dogs Out? V1.02. So volume 1, 2.
Or version.
Or version 1,
So did he
2.
So did he edit?
Why?
Oh, sorry, did they?
From 2010, it's a 9-star one. We'll get
Okay,
there.
I'll be quiet.
If one's stomach can stand the story at all, then some might find their DVD to be a valuable possession. It is one of those that I could watch time and time again, as if it was one of those stories where the storyteller has tried to learn from such as Clueless.
Is that just one review?
This is one.
No, please don't read all of that. That's so much writing.
That puts this feature alongside Mean Girls. Confession. Calm down, Grace. The more you struggle, the better it gets.
Look how short my comments are. It'll be much quicker.
Okay.
That puts feature length alongside Mean Girls, Confessions of a Teenage, and Ice Princess, and She is the Man, and Wild Child, which I read as a part of a quality trail started by Clueless. First Sight St. Trinians is rougher than the others. Acclimatise and try not to take it too seriously. It actually feels to be one of the calmer ones. For now, I rate Wild Child as the toughest. Again, that is not obvious at first, and place it closer to the level of Heathers than most. A different sort of pinnacle. In comparison, St. Trinians is for pussycats. Or dogs.
Is Pussycat or Dogs a film?
No, it's like pussycats full stop. Or dogs.
What are they getting at?
I like it that this... Wait, this is the best part.
Okay.
I'll be the judge of that.
I like it that this story has the word anarchy. That's the end of that sentence. From the late 1990s, I had been considering situational ethics as the direction to head in after starting to shrug off the chains of Puritan/Victorian beliefs.
Okay.
This shows something to the breadth that pure anarchy can have, and while that includes the cute kitten variety that a big baby might consider as sense, there are all sorts of other sides too. How the theme song is used in the feature feels nice and fun and okay, but it is in the extras as
Oh, this is a DVD review, isn't it?
but it is in the extras as a standalone item, and there it actually feels pure evil to me. I like it that the feature has also has comments about old-time conservative values. Why I need to dismiss those is there among the dealings between the head and the minister and the bank manager. In a lot of ways, I find the story to be a parody of reality, but including some serious stuff. Cite this story for day-to-day issues. Would that just be fuel modern day-to-day war? That's a question, Bartek. You can answer.
Can you ask it again?
Cite this story for day-to-day issues. Would that just fuel modern-day war? St. Trinians can read as a school for some, interpret as The Walking Dead. I consider it to be that it is best to ignore any temptation to interpret the story in that way. To me, it is just a normal everyday school, sort of school, such as every big baby becomes surrounded by, and Annabelle has a big baby role in this. To an outcast, the country that they try to live in can genuinely appear evil. Annabelle manages to acclimatize, stop being an outcast, except that she is not true underclass. She has still got a lot of freedom and other decisions and actions. This is more like HSM. Ryan growing when Sharpay removed the tethers, so HSM tends to show legal activities. I need this story to be something not to take seriously. Switch off and relax. Do that. I find this to be a story of quality. So I turn around and Grace has taken off her glasses and is just looking at me. Of quality. I noticed Trinian stuff in the 50s and 60s and found the concept to be perfect. Just the actual thing was a letdown. For entertainment, I needed what the idea implied, except that I now have the 4 DVD set of the earliest Trinians and find that I need to rate them too, if not as highly as this. They are different, in tune with the understandings of their day. And that's it.
I agreed with a bit of that towards the end, and I felt like I had lost it a little bit.
Felt a bit like a blog.
Yeah.
Bartek,
I found the 4-piece.
give us a couple.
Alright, so the video that I got these comments from is the T-railer of the film, which
T-railer.
which I believe was narrated by an American, and a lot of people didn't like that. So.
Oh, how dare they? Oh. Those Americans get everything.
Damn it, J.K. Simmons.
Was it J.K. Simmons?
No, but you believed it.
To be honest, people can say anything about J.K. Simmons to me, and I would be like, yeah, probably.
He was best J. Jonah Jameson.
I think the narration in the trailer pronounced posh toddies as posh toddies or something.
So give us some blow your load.
So this one here is a reaction to the trailer, but it's someone who's seen the film.
Oh, good.
This trailer makes the film look somewhat shit, but I promise that it's amazing and will definitely make you laugh, and the crying laugh emoji.
That's all I need. I need a guarantee. Thank you so much.
This is just a reaction for someone who'd never heard of it. Oh my freaking hell, what even is this movie? Question mark, exclamation, question mark, exclamation, question mark, explanation, question mark.
Nice pattern there. Good, good.
Well, they should have added one more exclamation.
Yeah, come on.
And this is someone who's got a genuinely good reaction. It's a, I'm gonna watch this with my big sister. And even the next person has a genuine reaction, which is, oh my gosh, Colin Firth XD heart.
Did they write oh my gosh?
They wrote O, which is just the letter O, my, as in the Japanese name, my, M-A-I, Gash, G-A-S-H, Colin Firth, XD, heart.
XD.
Oh, as in oh my gosh.
No, they wrote Gash.
Oh my gosh.
So, give us another.
And this one is in all caps.
All caps. Great.
Watched it over and over, but can't get my eyes off it, LOL.
I think that's a cry for help.
They've got a serious addiction.
But what about the LOL? Does it mean, let out loser? And it's talking about himself. One more, Ryan?
One more, and then I can give you a real
Alright.
personal story.
A film this good deserves a much better trailer. Trust me, if you are thinking about watching it, watch it! It honestly is one of the best films ever made, and I can promise you that it is not a chick flick!
It's not the chick flick.
That was almost a threat. And also, what the fuck's the problem with the chick flick?
Nothing. Other than if
Exactly.
it's the other woman, then it's great. So, this one is a 6-star review called, surprisingly, an okay film. Now, this review may contain spoilers, Grace, so
Oh
beware.
no.
I had no intention of watching this at the cinema. Some of Britain's film history is pretty bad, from the Carry On films and St. Trinians, so God only knows why they wanted to remake one. It wasn't my turn to pick the DVD, but the kids were told Alvin and the Chipmunks wasn't an option, so we plumped for St. Trinians instead. It was actually okay, I have to say, quite amusing at times. The girls looked suitably unsuitable. Storyline was the same old rubbish we've watched in countless family films, but it didn't really matter. All the superfluous fluff surrounding the story was what made the film. Good acting from all the kids. Firth and Everett give the film a welcome lift. I wouldn't choose to add it into my DVD collection, but it was okay. It was okay. And
I like how they start by like knocking the Carry On films. Like, I've not seen any of the Carry On films, but that's a British institution.
yeah. And I'll read one more, and then I've got one left after that.
Oh, okay.
My ultimate feel-good film. 10 stars, Grace.
You said my ultimate feel-good film, and then you touched my arm. I'm like, why? What are you doing?
Because this is your ultimate feel-good film.
It's not my ultimate feel-good
This was written by Grace. This
Yeah.
review may contain
I ghostwrote
spoilers.
that.
I don't often write reviews, but after watching this
I don't.
again in my room with a bowl of crisps on my knee,
Maybe I did write this. that is
With a bowl of
accurate
crisps
behaviour.
on my knee, I feel the urge to. I laugh all the way through every time. I know exactly what's coming now as well. Believe me, I've seen this loads, but every time I feel a little down in the dumps, I just turn on this film and the happiness just bubbles up in me. I think the storyline is brill, and I also love the pranks. The kids pull. They are just so imaginative. I often wish I had the guts to do some of the things they did whilst I was at school, but unfortunately, being the goody two-shoes I have to say, I chickened out every time an opportunity arose. There was no grammar in there.
So is this person living vicariously through
An opportunity
Saint Trinians?
arose. The makeover scene is one of my favorites. I love the stereotypical outfits each category of students wore, and I think all the girls looked brill in it. It makes me want to pull out my old school skirt and start slapping on the liner. The second one is also brill, so if anyone reading this has not yet seen the second, then give it a go. I'm sure you'll laugh out loud.
Yeah, guys, give it a go.
Give it a brill.
Give
And
it
then
a brill.
Bartek, give us a load of yours.
Well,
whole
funny you
load.
just mentioned the second one, Ryan,
you
because
looking
this
bad?
comment says the third one is coming out in 2014 and is called Saint Trinians versus the World. So we've got that
I would love to watch that film.
Well, 2014 is coming soon, so... And the next comment is another genuine response. I love this school so much. Oh, it's got 6 exclamations at the end. I should have said it much louder, but I'm sorry. This next one
Should be.
has a response to a trend that this film acknowledges. Emos. Seriously? Do I really have to teach adults that emo is music? And the response, teach me.
Teach me.
Yep.
Is that like all in lowercase?
No, it's got proper grammar. It's a capitals at the start.
If it was all in lowercase, that'd be great.
And the next one, oh Ryan, you keep looking at it. The next one is in all caps and has more exclamation marks that I can count. So I'm not even gonna face the microphone.
Oh boy!
Best movie ever!
You still blew the mic out.
You do.
Well, at least I looked
The
away.
neighbours next door are wondering why we're watching Centurions, and they now know.
Because it's best. And this next one, you know, he's not lying. Or sorry, they're not lying.
I hope not.
Love this movie, TBFH.
To be fucking honest.
Yeah. He's not lying, right?
I'm
He's
up
being
on the internet
fucking
slang.
honest. And this next one this one's very special. It has 2 moments of insight.
2.
That's a lot for a YouTube comment.
Yeah. And it's one line, but a few sentences. A film meant for everything else except studies. ... Oh! I wish I had a school like that.
Give us your big one. Give us your big one, Bartek, into my mouth. Oh, sorry, in my ear. Sorry, we're a podcast, not a taste test.
Would I give this to you now? I'll save the big ones for a bit.
All right, give us a little taste of it.
So this one is from someone who's basically reacting to, or like giving what happened to her as she was watching it, but like very short one-line things. So in asterisks, watching, Colin Firth, Lena Headey, me, Colin, what? And then asterisks, rewind, Lena Headey, or was it Lena Headey?
Lena.
Cersei! OMG!
A full OMG.
Yep.
I'll give you my personal one now. The last one I have, Grace. It's called Uh-oh, we're in trouble. We're deep in doo-doo and we haven't got a shovel.
Say it again, right?
Uh-oh, we're in trouble. We're deep in doo-doo and we haven't got a shovel. It's only 8 stars and it's written from my favourite country, South Africa. So, I struggled watching it at first. I missed a whole lot of what was actually said, and I refused to use subtitles on the Virgin flight. I felt that these characters... I felt that the characters made too little impression on me. They're not likable, and the whole thing was kind of over the top, simply for the sake of being over the top. Then, a bit before nearing the halfway mark, came that song that beautifully fitted in with the theme and tied everything up in a nice bow. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. Something's come along and it's burst our bubble.
What a song.
And it is just so damn cute that it made me see the whole flick in a positive new light. There's an absolute wealth of detail. The film oozes surprises popping up in the background. There is such an absolute lot going on here. The flick gets an A+ for effort, heart, and spirit. The pupils are deranged, a deranged lot. Everybody is busy as beavers, being deeply antisocial except for those at the wrong end of the stick. After the song warmed my heart, I was more in tune with the movie. These misfits have to be cheered for, and the subtitles were, of course, finally used, and there aren't any complaints from me anymore. Movie has a cult following, and I can see why. A better title? Girls Together, or Trinian, Girls Together. I just realized how much it would be misunderstood, but meant by me in the sense of standing together, overcoming all opposition. Movie has a cartoonish, and they have little asterisks there. So if we go down to the asterisks later, inspired by the works of the cartoons.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you know.
Movie has a cartoonish style with the deluge of over-the-top characters, including Rupert Everett in a dual role, which is kind of ludicrous to the extreme. A whole troop of savage little girls, some of them horrid little white-faced goths, or Satanists? And bigger girls wielding hockey sticks like deadly weapons. Also, a little leg-humping doggy. By the way, just learned scant minutes ago Trinian's Battle of the Sexes, and it sounds like a remake of All I Wanna Do.
Okay. Does he think that it's about just sex? Like fighting?
Yeah, sure. You said it was the other guy, you assume it was a he.
Sorry, they.
Grace wrote all of these. I didn't want to say anything before.
Oh.
Grace is from South Africa, really.
I was trying to mislead
Oh,
by
look,
saying he.
It's Grace. Hey, it's me, Grace. I don't know how to do South African accents. It is I, Dr. Rudy. He's the only South African character I really know outside of District 9.
One of the Chasers guys is South African.
Now, give us your final word. Grace is on the edge of her seat.
All right.
She's sitting here, there's sweat dripping down her leg from the sheer anticipation. I hope it's sweat.
It is like 20-something degrees, but I'm alright.
I think it's just
like
humid,
28,
yeah.
isn't it?
I don't
Yeah.
care. Bartek.
So, big theme of some of these comments is emotions and coming together.
Coming together.
What is with you today? What has gotten into you?
You get this in me.
Okay, no, do not put that on me.
I'll put it in you. I don't know. What do
No, enough of this.
Go.
Life sucks. My buddy has just been... What?
Sorry, my buddy. Usually is a sign of things to come in these reviews.
Life sucks. My buddy has begun going out with a stunning girl as 2 months back he signed up to an internet site called Master Attraction. And brackets says, Google it if you want to know more.
Is this a
I work
spam
there.
text?
Google it.
I'm so green with envy since I would like to just fall in love as well. I'm gonna take a look at this Jake Ayres' man's information and find out if it might help a person like me. Odd thing is, he once had no luck with females. How does one transform so fast? His lady's a fucking model.
This is a spam comment, yes?
No, this is real.
It's emotional. And look, the next one.
Journey.
The next one also is too. It's emo is so a real world.
It's like, you know, that's something I would hear in like a Dario episode from one of the background characters.
And this person also has emotions. Okay, I'm annoyed. My stepbrother lives in the opposite room and he just turned fantastic at attracting females. He went to the Master Attraction site, look up on Google, by Jake Ayres. Now I hear him bringing back girls. He's always getting girls back. I can't help but hear it, which is disgusting. If only he never found that site. I am envious.
Here's a weird thing. I didn't know Bartek actually went to that site's website, got the comments, and just shoved him in.
This is all from the trailer of St. Trinians. Just like this next one. This movie is so fucking stupid. Why do I like it, though? It's a very conflicting one. Just like the next one.
The duality of man.
This next one, it like the trailer, says, very good video. I found this cause my pal has become a lady magnet.
He's a lady magnet now.
Yep.
A lady
And he's
magnet.
obese. He went from a nobody into being astounding. He pretended he didn't realize. He then smiled and told me while he was drunk on bourbon. He said he learned from the Jake Ayres Master Attraction formula. Google it if you'd like to know more about it. ... He's seeing a sexy chick. ...
Is that the last one?
There are two more, but they're both one line, just very brief. And this, I think, just
Is it right? Jake is.
no, it isn't. This is actually about the theme of the film, the coming together. And they're two separate comments, but they're about very similar things. The first one is, why would you want a dysfunctional family? And the other one is, I want a dysfunctional family too.
Bam! And that's how you do it, people. You guys have been great, amazing, fantastic, wonderful listening people. Grace, you have amazed our presence. You've assaulted my intelligence by saying I have no legs to stand on. You didn't want to join in the comedy, but that's okay, because Grace is our guest that comes on to talk real to us. She keeps us grounded, saying, hey, don't talk smack about Colin Firth. Talk real. And that's what we need to do about this film. What?
It's what Colin would want.
Colin would want you to talk real, and that's what we need. We are always trying to talk real about movies, but hey, we don't know every single movie and unappreciated masterpiece.
We're only real people.
Exactly. Unlike, the fake people. And we need suggestions sometimes. We may have not done Trinians. We may have not done it, and that would have broken Grace's heart, which apparently Grace does not have. But years ago, it used to be there. And your heart is there now, hopefully. And we would want you to message us. We have a Facebook page, Spin and Polish Presents. We have a post there where you can drop in a suggestion that you feel like. Or you don't. Could be a gun to your head saying, put Trinians 2 on there. I know they're already covering it, but damn, Grace needs to know. And then you guys can subscribe to us on Podbean, iTunes. We have a YouTube as well. It's all Spin and Polish Presents. And that's pretty much it. We are going to be covering more duologies. We're going to be doing the second Trinians, and then the second half of this month, we're going to be covering movies, a pair of movies that are more for the boys.
The fellows.
The fellows. You guys, remember to be kind to each other.
Oh, what's this? I have one more one more comment that I didn't notice. I think I'll, by the way, guys, just pretend that we haven't acknowledged the second movie yet.
Okay.
Okay, what's this other comment? Guys, did you know that there's a Trinians 2?
Oh, no!